96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. A man murdered, his daughter shot on the way to church. Hospital funding nearing completion. The government eyes a loan from China Exim Bank. And anger over a film not being allowed to play in local theaters. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, February 26th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndrew Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, we are getting ready for the Guardian Group's Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair, the event this weekend. We'll give you all the details, what you need to know about it. And then later in business, we're talking about the ARF Bank and Trust, ARF Economic Outlook, what we can expect from that in just a few weeks. That's all ahead, but first it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, investigations continue into the country's latest murder. A man shot to death and his daughter injured in a double shooting on Wilson Track off Cordo Avenue. This was yesterday morning. Police Chief Superintendent Kristen Skipping saying that the father, who was 35 years old, arrived on Wilson Track at 7 a.m. to pick up his 16-year-old daughter. Skipping's noting the father was driving a white Chevrolet pickup, came to collect the daughter to take her to church. As he pulled off, a small silver vehicle pulled alongside. Police say two gunmen got out of the car and shot at the truck, hitting the man and his daughter. The father died at the scene. The girl, who's a musician, was taken to the hospital. The police appealing to anyone who knows of these incidents, who knows what happened here, to come forward. She said, quote, "Someone saw these two young men when they arrived home after leaving the scene with blood on their hands. Someone saw them, and now it's your responsibility to come forward and provide us with the intel." Superintendent Keith Ferguson, second in command at the Grove Police Station, saying his team is doing all it can to keep the community safe, including mobile patrols and conducting walkabouts, saying it's a team effort. This is the 27th murder in the Bahamas so far this year, 25 in New Providence. There's been one in Grand Bahama and one on Abaco. Police say a 39-year-old man died in Eleuthera after he lost control of his motorcycle. This was also yesterday. Police say the victim was driving his bike in Hatchet Bay around 7 a.m. when he lost control and sustained head trauma. Officers found the victim in bushes off the road. A medical team, including a doctor, visited the scene and pronounced him dead. A 21-year-old man has been charged with the murder of Edlyn Sever on February 6th. Kevin Bain making his initial court appearance before Magistrate Kendra Kelly in relation to the murder charge on Friday. According to police, Sever, who was on bail for murder, was ambushed by a gunman alleged to be Bain, who emerged from a park as he walked along Hospital Lane. Sever died on the scene. Bain was not required to enter a plea to the murder charge. He was denied bail as the magistrate lacks jurisdiction to consider bail for the offense. The matter was adjourned to May 29th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Coincidentally, Sever was also accused of a murder that happened in the same area. He was on bail in relation to the August 18, 2017 fatal shooting of Marco Neely on Hospital Lane. The Davis administration has cleared an initial hurdle in its application to Export-Import Bank of China to secure a concessional loan to construct a $290 million specialty hospital on New Providence. This would be on New Providence Highway, according to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville. The Nassau Health Campus will be built in two phases and will be a 250-bed maternal and child hospital that will include a morgue, diagnostic facilities, and a blood bank. Darville telling the Nassau Guardian that they're progressing very steadily towards funding by the Chinese Exim Bank. The Chinese loan would have a 2% annual interest rate with a 5-year moratorium on the interest payment and a 15-year loan maturity. The government moved $25,000 that was budgeted for the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities to pay for a memorial for the late Obi Wilchcombe, held in Bahamar last December. The money was moved from the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities to the line item fees and other charges for the payment to Bahamar Resort. For the memorial, the government also moved an additional $5,000 from another line item to pay for the memorial. The money was reallocated in the supplemental budget for the first half of the fiscal year. The supplemental budget was tabled in the Parliament last week. Debate on the mid-year budget begins on March 6th. And the source of funding for properties bought by Long Island MP Adrian Gibson during his tenure as the executive chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation, once again taking center stage at his trial. Prosecutors alleged Friday that the properties were bought between 2018 and 2020 with money from Elite Maintenance and Baha Maintenance, two companies that were awarded landscaping and painting contracts by the corporation. Gibson is accused of bribery, money laundering, receiving, and failing to declare an interest in the contracts. He's pleaded not guilty and is being tried alongside Elwood Donaldson Jr., the corporation's former general manager, Jerome Missick, Joanne Knowles, Peaches Farquharson, and Gibson's cousin, Rashay Gibson. Gibson's lawyer, Damien Gomez, showed Registrar General Camille Gomez-Jones payment tables for the contracts and suggested the properties were bought before the contractors were paid. Gomez also suggested to Gomez-Jones that Gibson had been extended a $90,000 line of credit after mortgaging another property. The Registrar General said she had no knowledge of Gibson's finances. Overseas, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shidea saying today his government is resigning in a move that could open the door to U.S.-backed reforms in the Palestinian Authority. President Mahmoud Abbas must still decide whether he accepts his resignation, but the move signals a willingness by the Western-backed Palestinian leadership to accept shakeup that might usher in reform seen as necessary to revitalize the Palestinian Authority. The U.S. wants a reformed Palestinian Authority to govern Gaza once the war is over, but many obstacles remain to making that vision a reality. Abbas is expected to choose Mohammed Mustafa, chairman of the Palestine Investment Fund, as the next prime minister. And Caribbean leaders meeting with embattled Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry to talk about his country's unrelenting gang violence, with one top official noting that his continued presence as the head of government remains a main stumbling block to progress. Bahamian Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell telling the Associated Press that opposition leaders and other groups in Haiti oppose Henry as Prime Minister, even as the regional trade bloc known as CARICOM keeps trying to help change the country's situation. Mitchell said the international community also questions how the country would function if Haiti's Prime Minister resigns or is removed, and that there needs to be a political solution. In brief comments to the AP, Henry saying that calls for his removal are a power grab and that nothing will happen, quote, unless we work together. Earlier this month, demonstrators across Haiti organized protests that turned violent as they demanded that Henry resign. Mitchell spoke to the AP after meeting with Henry and other Caribbean leaders behind closed doors in Guyana before a 4-day CARICOM summit in the South American country. Officials, including U.S. Ambassador Linda Thompson Greenfield and U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs Brian A. Nichols, are expected to attend. Mitchell said that Caribbean leaders were scheduled to meet with Thomas Greenfield this morning. In a statement Sunday, Haiti's government said that Henry would attend the CARICOM summit, which will host talks about the participation of Caribbean countries to help boost a UN-backed deployment of Kenyan police officers to help fight gang violence. Nations including the Bahamas, Jamaica, Belize, Burundi, Chad, and Senegal have said they plan to send forces. After the CARICOM summit, officials say that Henry is scheduled to travel to Nairobi, Kenya to finalize the modalities of the deployment, which has been halted by a court order. Mitchell says that the international community has pledged more than $100 million for the mission to Haiti, with the U.S. pledging another $200 million, adding that the political situation remains problematic. In sports, Puerto Rico wanted their revenge against the Bahamas, and they got it, beating the home country convincingly in the senior men's basketball at the Candlelights Gym on Sunday. It was a tale of two different games for the Bahamas as they fell behind early and never recovered. They lost 86-67 after winning 88-77 in San Juan on Thursday. Both games were wire-to-wire decisions, and now both teams have a 1-1 win-loss record in the FIBA, the International Basketball Federation AmeriCup 2025 qualifiers. An 11-0 scoring run in the first quarter on Sunday night put the Bahamas in an early hole. They trailed 20-9 at that point and were down 26-16 after the opening quarter. Post player Kai Jones giving his views on it. You can read about it and what he had to say in today's Guardian Sports section. Damon hurdler Devin Charlton continuing her dominance in the women's 60-meter hurdles, clocking the former world record of 7.68 seconds to win the World Indoor Tour Gold Madrid 2024 on Friday. Also this past weekend, the national record was broken twice in the NCAA Conference Championships. Charlton's time of 7.68 in Madrid was the second fastest time ever run in that event, trailing the 7.67 record that she set in New York just 2 weeks ago, which was also tied by Tia Jones of the U.S. 2 weekends ago. In Madrid, Charlton winning that event by a comfortable margin, running 7.79 seconds in the heat and coming back in the final with the blazing 7.68. Meanwhile, the men's 200-meter indoor national record broken twice over the weekend, with Texas Tech Red Raiders' Terrence Jones clocking 20.21 seconds to set the final mark for the gold medal at the Big 12 Indoor Championships in Lubbock, Texas. It also tied the world-leading time set by American Arion Knighton 2 weeks ago. As for Jones, he ran out of lane 6 in the second heat, putting on a show, the second fastest time in the time finals run by the University of Houston's Sean Maswangani. The Grand Bahamian equaled Pinder's time in the heat, which was then a personal best. And you can read more about how Bahamians have been doing in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian Dakari Turnquest is reaching the pinnacle of the sport of billiards. And still doing it as a junior, Turnquest, who hails from Deadman's Key, Long Island, won the Platinum Division men's 9-ball singles at the 2024 Billiard Congress of America Pool League World Championships, currently ongoing in Las Vegas, Nevada. BCA is the governing body for Q Sports in the United States and Canada, and at just 17, Turnquest is excelling in the highest division of the men's competition as a junior. You can read about that as well in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NBA, Miami's Jimmy Butler and New Orleans' Najee Marshall have been suspended for one game apiece for instigating an on-court altercation. The incident happened during the Heat-Pelicans game on Friday night. Miami's Thomas Bryant and New Orleans' Jose Alvarado were both handed 3-game suspensions for fighting and leaving the bench area. Miami's Nikola Jokic also got a 1-game suspension for leaving the bench and entering the altercation. Butler, who did not think he should have been ejected, will lose nearly $260,000 in base salary because of his suspension. The rest of the suspensions will cost the 4 other players about $115,000 combined. It all started when Miami's Kevin Love fouled New Orleans' Zion Williamson under the Pelicans basket. Butler and Marshall engaged in a physical altercation after the foul, and Alvarado and Bryant then fought. The Heat went on to win, though, 106-95. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather on this Monday morning. We've got high pressure centered north of the area. That will generate light to moderate breezes while promoting pleasant weather conditions today through tonight. There are some warnings, though. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution due to marginal risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, we're looking at partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions with a chance of a stray shower in the southeast Bahamas, becoming fair and cool at night. A small craft caution is in effect for Atlantic exposures in the southeast Bahamas. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less in the northwest Bahamas, but up to 10 to 15 knots in the central and southeastern islands. Seas 1 to 3 feet near shore, but building up to 5 feet along Atlantic exposures. Currently in Nassau, it is about 63 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 61 Fahrenheit. 16 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
To all homeowners, this is your reminder that Scotiabank encourages all taxpayers to sell outstanding real property taxes before March 31st, 2024. We want to ensure that you're up to date on all tax obligations. Failure to comply may affect your monthly mortgage payments and the total balance owing under your mortgage. We invite you to contact the RPT office of the Department of Inland Revenue or your nearest branch or bank officer if you require additional information or assistance. Stay on top of your taxes with Scotiabank.
It's that time of year to join the movement. It's time for the annual Guardian Media's Healthy, Wealthy and Wise Fair, Saturday, March 2nd at the Mola Marathon, starting at 10 a.m. Admission is free. Come and receive free health screenings by the walk-in clinic, fantastic product info, and sound financial advice. Participate in the exercise demonstrations by Natasha Brown, outdoor fitness Bahamas, and RF exposure. There will also be a CPR demonstration by Superior Care, plus live performances by Blawdy, Johnny Cake, Shine, and Carrington McKenzie, ending with a Saxon superstar Junkanoo Rush Out. Join the movement. It's the annual Nassau Guardians Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair, Saturday, March 2nd at the Mall at Marathon.
Life is unpredictable, so when the unexpected pops up and you need cash fast, you can handle it in easy-to-manage bite-sized payments with a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay. With Scotia Select Pay, you can take a lower-interest cash advance on your Scotia credit card in 3, 6, 9, or 12 monthly bite-sized payments. When the unforeseen strikes, trust a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay, the new, easy, and useful way to get cash now and pay later in convenient bite-sized payments that won't break your budget. Try it now on the Scotia mobile app or via Scotia online.
Champ, baby girl, cable guy is here.
Since the very beginning, you have been with us.
This is Paul Ray, and this is called the internet.
Okay.
All right, so you can
For
type it.
over 2 decades, we've been with you every step of the way.
Look at her go. She's in front.
Hi, fellow baby. I'm president.
So yeah, times may have changed, and so have your needs as our valued customers. But some connections stand the test of time. Red, we're with you.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. We're back on 612, I'm told. We checked into it and got that back up, so thank you to BTC for that. You can tweet us, Facebook us, and text us. 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line. Standard text rates apply. 422-4796 on the BTC Power text line. All right, once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, we're going to give you details about the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise fair that's coming up this weekend with the Guardian Group and all the details of what you need to know about that. And then later in business, we're talking with RF Bank and Trust about their upcoming RF Economic Outlook, the annual event. And the theme this year is intelligence. Let me get this theme right. This is very interesting. Age of Intelligence. Age of Intelligence, harnessing the power. And we're going to talk about that this morning. So that's all ahead, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, investigations continue the country's latest murder, and again, a child has been shot in the middle of all of this. Her father was murdered, but she's in the hospital yesterday. We were told that, we don't know the condition right now, but we were told yesterday that the person might have been shot. The child might have been shot in her chest. But the latest story in the Nassau Guardian by our Travis Cartwright Carroll, a man was murdered and his daughter was injured in a double shooting on Wilson Track off Cordo Avenue yesterday morning. Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skipping saying the father, 35, arrived on Wilson Track at 7 a.m. to pick up his 16-year-old daughter. Skippings, noting that the father was driving a white Chevrolet truck, came to collect his daughter to take her to church. She said, quote, as he pulled off from the residence, a small silver vehicle pulled up alongside them. Two gunmen got out of the car and shot the truck, hitting the man and his daughter. Now, the father died at the scene, and the daughter, we're told she's a musician, was taken to the hospital. Her condition not clear at this time. Skipping saying, quote, someone saw these two young men when they arrived at home after leaving the scene with blood on their hands. Someone saw them, and now it's your responsibility to come forward and provide us with the intel. Superintendent Keith Ferguson, second in command of the Grove Police Station, said his team is doing all it can to keep the community safe, including mobile patrols and conducting walkabouts. It's a team effort, he said. He said, quote, the criminals are working together every day. We as a community need to work together. It starts with the family and by extension the churches and the different civic organizations. We need to come together to fight this monster called crime. It's the 27th murder in the Bahamas for the year, 25 New Providence. Wow. So here's a different story in the Tribune today. This article says he was a father of six, was murdered while his 16-year-old daughter, while taking her to band practice. Wow. The girl was grazed with a bullet but did not suffer a serious injury. And I guess this is the name of the victim here. Michael Woodside's uncle, Frederick Wallace, said the murdered man was a hard worker and a good father who played an integral role in his children's lives. The 35-year-old was a water sports operator and a professional welder. Wallace said, quote, Mikey had a bubbly personality. Everybody loved him. This is Skippings at the scene saying of the young girl, quote, she's actually a musician, so you can imagine now a young musician with so much potential to help contribute to this country on the way to church by some senseless, careless act of two young men who were supposed to be protecting women. Well, okay. Wallace said his nephew's father was nearby when his son was killed. The father and son spoke yesterday morning. He said the father's last words to his son were, don't forget to bring back the dog food. Boy. Wow. So here we go again, Bahamas. Here we go again. Let's get your reaction to this. I have some views on this. I don't know if I want to say them, though, but let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. All right, so let me say it. So this clearly wasn't a random thing. It wasn't a robbery, it seems. Folks know who they're beefing with. Folks know. And folks know who has it out for them. So, I mean, I understand the police making that appeal. And that's, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes, do that. Absolutely. And if somebody knows what happened, please be responsible and do the right thing. But I think if you talk to some people who know these folks, you'll know what was what and what was happening before, right? I mean, I don't... What do you have to say, folks? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, here's a text. Dwight, what the heck does skippings mean by someone saw them? Where is the CCTV that they should be using to fight crime? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. But she's also saying people can be proactive and call out and say something too. But also do what I said earlier, right? Somebody knows. Somebody knows. So we don't have to spend too much time pretending here. This text here, all the hand-wringing and moralizing from the police spokesperson, I do not understand why the police have not implemented widespread CCTV camera coverage of the major arteries, along with heavier concentration in hot spots. These are objective, concrete steps within their grasp. Yep, I agree with you. I do agree. And I think they need to tell us. They need to be upfront. What is the real deal? What's working? What's not working with the CCTV? We do see cameras. Do you not have them? Are they just there for pretty, for show? What is what's really happening here? All right. Did you see this vehicle speed off somewhere? Where did it end up? Is that not showing up at any footage anywhere? I don't know. All right. So continue to message about that and get your views in about it. And here we go again. Another child caught in the crossfire here. What will it mean to anybody? Does it mean anything? People are going to still say, oh, that's them, that neighborhood. What'd you expect? Is that what we're going to do? We're still playing that game? Yeah, let's hear. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just another senseless killing, and what are we on our lawmakers and them doing about it? You know what I mean? We go through the same ritual every year, every month. People are being killed, and we talk and photo shoot, and nothing is ever being done, especially when it comes to laws. I know Mikey. I know him personally. I know his father, horseman. They have horse and carriages and stuff, and they never. I ain't Grammy, and I ain't keeping for nobody. But his focus in life was working and his children. And if anything happened, it probably something happened with one of the kids, and he probably tried to defend them because that was all he was about in life. You know what I mean? And skippings, let me tell you the problem with skippings them is what they have it. I had a problem with a robber many years ago, and Wayne Monroe was doing the sitting on the bench, and the robber was convicted and sentenced to 13 years because I was involved in that robbery with him. He robbed us, and after about 2 weeks of the man being sentenced to 13 years, my phone rang in the night. And when I answered the phone, it was the robber calling me from prison, telling me, man, he didn't know that was me. He's sorry about that. See if I could help him get off or something. Where he get my number from? And how you know who I was? See, that's the problem. The police
and he had a phone.
Huh?
And he had a phone.
And he had a phone, right? And he just was calling me, was texting me. I had to go to the police. But see, 2 weeks afterwards, and try to get it to stop. And see, that's the problem. What we have when it comes to witnesses and stuff in this country, the witnesses ain't safe. And with the way these fellas care about doing it, you never know if you involved in something. They pull up on you, or you and your family, and that's the end of that. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah. Wow. That's a disturbing story there. My goodness. Continue to call in 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. This one says, it's Dwight, sometimes you have no clue that someone wants to kill you, and he wasn't stabbed. What police mean the killers went home with blood? What do they mean by they went home with blood on their hands? I mean, I think that's figurative speak there, but interesting. Was the blood visible on the killers? And if so, do the police know that? But why do you believe everything the police say? Because I don't. Okay. This person says here, how much they overspent on travel and then increased the travel budget on top of that again. Okay, we're not talking about that today, but if this is the same text who sent in about the CCTV, all right? So you could say, I guess you're saying use that money more wisely and implement better CCTV coverage. That's what you're saying, I suspect? Okay, let's take this call. Good morning, you're on the air. Hi, good morning, caller. All right, call us back. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. This texter says here, I'm sick of these police officers coming to the public asking for information, and they do not want to utilize the technology that they should have. This is 2024. This old policing technique will not work, and this is foolishness. I mean, you got to use everything, right? Technology and appeals to the public, sure. But if that's all you have is appeals to public when their technology exists, I get what you're saying. That is ridiculous, especially when there are cameras up and about. So again, what's really happening? What's really happening there? It is frustrating, indeed frustrating. Let's take some more calls. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Yeah, okay. So while all of that is happening, you can get back to that. You can continue to message us. The big headline of the National Guardian today is about the hospital funding. I know many have been asking about this. But learning a little bit more about this. Callers will get back to you in a second. The Davis administration has cleared an initial hurdle in its application to the Export-Import Bank of China to secure a concessional loan to construct a $290 million specialty hospital on New Providence Highway, according to Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville. The Nassau Health Campus will be built in 2 phases and will be a 250-bed maternal and child hospital that will include a morgue, diagnostic facilities, and a blood bank. Darville telling the National Guardian they're progressing very steadily towards funding by the Chinese Exim Bank. The Chinese loan would have a 2% annual interest rate with a 5-year moratorium on the interest payment and a 15-year loan maturity. He said that when we were looking for financing for this project, there were a few groups that expressed interest. At first, we thought it may be a private-public partnership, and so we had meetings with multiple groups who expressed an interest from the private sector to build it. The government of the Bahamas made a commitment, despite our headwinds, that this particular project should be a government-guaranteed project, and so it will definitely have an impact on our debt to GDP. But we made a commitment because of the necessity. We will continue down that trend. And usually with the government-guaranteed projects, you get better interest rates. So we had a variety of different Exim banks who have looked at constructing this particular facility, and we've made a decision in principle that the facility funding should come from by way of the Chinese Exim Bank. Now, Darville's also saying that he doesn't think he's out of order, but we've been working very closely with financiers from China for construction for this facility. We made an application to the Chinese government to access funding for the construction of this hospital by way of the Chinese concessional loan funding. He said they've passed the first phase of the Chinese concessional loan funding, and very shortly the entire project will be forwarded to the Chinese Exim Bank, looking for the possibility of funding by way of the Chinese Exim Bank at very low interest rates. Okay. So let's get your reaction to that as well, and to the latest murder that we've been talking about so far this morning. Deandra Cartwright joining us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
How are
It's
you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
Doing well. All right, let's take this call and then we'll talk about this as well. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Miss Cartwright, Deandra Cartwright.
Good morning.
Hey, Dwight. When it relates to the murders what's happening in this country, I'm convinced that the powers that be, right, need to make money, right, because it appears that our leaders only care about money in this country. They don't care about nothing else. And they don't put focus on nothing where they don't bring in no money, right? Because if Nassau is a very small island, right? Very small to compare to places where our prime ministers and leaders travel to, right? Nassau is a very small place, right? And I'm sure when these people go and travel, they see the way the city is set up and how some cities are safe because of apparatus put in place to keep the city safe. But no, our leaders, right? They are making money from the crime saga in the Bahamas, right? And it's so clear to see because if you were an individual living in the Bahamas in the position to stop any form of criminality, right, being in power, and that's something you really and seriously wanted to do, right? I believe being the prime minister with the place of the Bahamas, that was something easy to do. Because I was working on Bay Street, they was putting up CC cameras, right? And they was not working right there inside Rawson Square. The CC cameras wasn't working, right? But they put them up there because, see, they are blaming people as fools, right? And this is why they just do these things to us. Because, you see, once you could pretend that you are doing something to the Bahamians, right, then just by you pretending, they would conclude that you are doing something. And the politicians knows this, man, right? But to make this short is that our leaders really and truly are not interested in saving innocent lives in this country, right? And to prove it again, the hospital, right, that now is being proposed, right? I don't know if what's the amount to construct. I think I missed what the amount was, Dwight. But we have a prime minister just got a budget increase. I think it must be $80-something million when you total up all of from time he came into power to now, right? $80-something million, Dwight. You know what that could do for the crime and the hospital if you had leaders them would have vision? No, but these people are not interested in doing. All they're interested in putting the Bahamian people in debt, and then once they get out of power, they find another way to increase taxes on the Bahamian people. Right? We have to change this mindset in this country because they are trying to turn generation into crazy, insane people. You guys have a nice day.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot. I don't know if we can go as far as to say it's $290 million, by the way, the hospital. I don't know if we can go as far as to say they don't care, but there are definitely better things that can be done to show that they are in touch with reality and technology and all the other things that we have at our disposal.
Need as a people.
Yes, absolutely.
To improve infrastructure, to introduce new resources that our people actually need.
Yes,
so that we can see visible effort being put into the things that will benefit the majority.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right. So, it is curious the things that the police say after an incident like this. Again, they're making appeals to family members because people around here like to talk. Right? To just, so save some time, I guess, instead of having to go through if the footage is working, if the cameras are working. But
the two-step process is, I guess it makes sense. Let's try to ask the families to come forward. Now, if that actually worked, statistically, perhaps we can get some statistics. How many family members have come forward in the past to report that their relative has been involved with a crime?
Yeah.
Do we have statistics available on that? I'd be quite curious to see it.
If we do, I doubt it's the police keeping it. But yeah, you got to try everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we will use technology,
Leave no
although that wasn't said
stone
here.
unturned.
Right. That wasn't said this time. We've heard that before, that they will use technology, but not this time.
But it's just so sad, though. You remember when they actually, just like what the caller said years ago, when they started installing these CCTVs,
Yeah,
I
right.
believe
Now,
they were
implementing is a
able
serious
to
word.
report on a remarkable decrease in activities, I think.
What?
Like right
Here?
after.
You mean globally?
No.
In the
Like,
Bahamas?
Right after, they were saying, oh, this is going to decrease. This is going to have this sort of impact. But like again,
That's
this
what
was
they
like
said
10
was going to
10 years
happen.
ago. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it ever
Then-
happen?
Again, where are the statistics?
Right.
However, have we been hearing about how the CCTV system has been working?
No, we have not.
I know you've been calling on to say, can we have an idea of which ones are working?
Yeah.
Which ones are not working? I was listening in on my way in, and I'm like, that actually makes sense. Let us know, like, come out and actually say,
Tell us.
what's going on. So then maybe, we're always talking about public-private partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that we can't afford it? Is that the real question? Can we not afford
clearly
to
we
fix
can,
the CCTV?
because if you could reallocate money for certain things, you have the money.
Listen,
So that's not it.
I'm reading this right here, and I will hold my comments on the reallocation from the persons with disabilities. I want to understand better. I really do.
You will never. It won't make sense to us. Yeah, this is disturbing. And if you notice, every time we have seen footage, it has come from some business establishment or somebody's home.
But even so, right? Not every business has that. Not every home has that.
No.
So the onus shouldn't be, while they can assist, the onus should not be on the population to provide these things, right? And then if that is to be the case, then provide some sort of incentive to the public. Again, let's go back to the table. If you do not have CCTV coverage in a particular area, but you know that inside a certain mile radius that you have 20 businesses or whatnot, provide an incentive to them. And there are many ways that you can do that. Like you can get a deduction on whichever licensing fees, taxes, whatever, something that they will feel inclined to actually install it, because it's helping them, but they will be able to help you to help them. But they can't do that until you actually come out and say, hey, that CCTV system that we installed on such and such a street, yeah, that's not actually working and has not been working. Do you know it? Is it true, like in other countries, if I recall correctly, they actually publicly make the CCTV footage live, that you can watch it along. They do it on traffic stops and things like that on the roads and whatnot. Like people watch it.
The police regularly release that footage to say, look at this person, we're looking for this person breathes through this light, this person nearly hit down this child. But when was the last time you saw the police, the Bahamas police, the Royal Bahamas Police Force release footage and say, we're looking for this person?
I really have to think about that. I mean, the sketches of the persons come out regularly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I'm trying to find the bright side.
Right. Maybe that's it. It'll put them out of business. Let's go back to the phone lines. Okay, so we're between the horrible murder yesterday and this poor 16-year-old who was shot, and the hospital, which is good news, but right, we desperately need that. Now, whether the way that they're going about it, I don't know if everyone's going to agree.
Dwight, I know I may be a younger person, but I do remember.
Younger than who?
to the persons who call in sometimes. Maybe, you know.
Well, join the club, Deandra.
But I remember, I believe it may have been about 15 years ago, maybe 20, that we were talking about this and getting certain persons, entities, similar to what discussions may be occurring, to fund said project. I fancy that sometimes this is the same talk over
local
and
people?
over. No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
No. I try not to get in trouble today.
Uh-huh.
But that we've heard this before. Is the same situation?
Well, we're closer now than ever before, it seems, with this one.
Okay, I'm the type of person I want to see it to believe it, because we always hear these things. And then also,
You don't believe much these days,
the
apparently.
track record of investment of saying that you're going to raise the funds to do the certain thing. I'm still waiting on a particular project on my home island to come to terms.
You don't believe in holding breath, right? Don't do that.
I'm an asthmatic. My breath is precious.
Don't do it. Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, I had to call back when you mentioned hospital. Now, so we at least the hospital we got here ain't wait the paper coming, but at least we got a little semblance of something there that we can run to. But did your report mention Freeport or Abaco or Exuma?
No.
Your report didn't mention that, eh?
It's not. Well, we're not
Okay,
talking about
because I would think that the big hospital they got there in Exuma, all they need is equipment and some staffing, and Abaco needs a little help, and Freeport definitely needs help. So why they mention on and all of that? And then they talk about hospital for maternity insurance. Men, women ain't having no insurance. You know what I mean? We need a whole new, brand new hospital, not just for maternity and children.
It's a specialty
to me, it
hospital.
seems like only one set of people have insurance around this kind of
You
time.
got to future-proof the place, you know. You got to think about the future. Things might change.
Yeah, but that's what they talk about, Dwight. That's what I'm speaking about. If you can do 200 rooms for maternity insurance, then you need another 400 for regular stuff. Don't just mention maternity insurance.
But specialty hospitals, definitely, that's what we... Thanks a lot, caller. That's what we desperately need here.
No, we do.
Yeah, and trauma centers. We need a specific trauma center. You do need a children's hospital. You do need things that focus on certain things.
Word on the street is that the children's ward was built as an afterthought.
Of course.
As an afterthought.
Everything with children around here is an afterthought.
I must disagree with the caller. Women's health matters. We need space. We need... Do you know how complex a woman's body is? We bring life into the world.
And I'm sure there's tons of surgeries that are taking place. So you really...
Actually, that cannot take place because the facilities do not exist or the resources do not exist there.
Yeah.
But going back to what the caller said, I mean, inside the same article, I'm sure you may have mentioned this, Darvill actually provided an update on that $210 million investment facility, that there's investment into the healthcare facility on Grand Bahama. It's supposed to be coming in phases. So he said that they're moving the project. They acquired the land and that the site has been cleared, that the foundation footings are in place, and that they're getting ready to start the vertical construction. And they said that the first phase of that hospital, which is supposed to be located off the East Sunrise Highway, is supposed to be expected to be completed in the next 12 to 6 months. And they're hoping to have 16 months, sorry. The coffee hasn't kicked in, please forgive me. That the first phase will be operational while they're doing phase 2. So they're deciding not to do a complete turnkey. So, yeah. Interesting. But I do agree with the caller. I mean, what about the other islands? But I mean, do we actually talk about the concept of centralization? Because I mean, that's something
or decentralization. Which one do you mean?
Trying to put everybody on this one island by one way.
Somebody's trying to do that, obviously.
No, but this has been years throughout successive administrations.
Yeah. We're clearly moving toward that, and the people of the country don't seem to mind that you need to do everything here, and that this is insane.
There was a particular. I was home. This was a few years ago, and they happened to be having a town hall meeting the same time I was there. And again, this is some administrations ago. And the Minister of Health at the time literally said, hey, I need to level with you all. The reality is we simply don't have the money to replicate the infrastructure that we require throughout our family islands. We simply cannot do it. Now, at the time on this particular island, again, my home island, there was no ambulance. The clinics were not working as they should. They did not have the resources, and very little has changed up into this year. So, and this is the cry from all of our family islands. For goodness sake, some islands don't even have banks. They don't have daily flights going in. So well,
that's if you want a central government system, right? They will not have the money to do that. But that's not how it works in other places.
Right. So this is why
the private sector kicks in and does more, pulls up the slack. And often will have better things in the capital city, right? Depending on
this is where you encourage jealousy. Maybe that's why they don't want it to happen, because some of our islands are able to generate quite a bit
and would be able to put Nassau to shame if they were freed from the
economic chains that bind them,
the prison, the slavery of the central government. But we don't seem to. Some of us don't seem to want this. For what reason? I don't know.
Because somewhere down the line, somebody is benefiting from it. Also, it's the ignorance. And people tend to think that ignorance is a bad word. It just means the absence of knowledge. If we don't understand the concept, then we're unable to embrace it. So if we don't do our own research, and again, I think this point is driven home a little bit more deeply for those of us that are from family islands because we've lived it. We see it every single day, right? We know the impact of it. But if you're not familiar with the situation, if you're not feeling the circumstances, then you're not feeling the pain.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you literally look at it, and this goes into migration, hopefully this is not a trigger term for those listening, but we've had internal migration going on for quite some time. And it usually happens right after either hurricane destruction or after something like the pandemic. You're going to have the influx of persons coming in from the family islands. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's as simple as looking at how difficult the traffic situation has gotten recently, because you had so many cars, you have many persons, there's not enough housing. And it's only going to get a little bit more complex. I'm trying to be diplomatic with that, because the idea is that we're going to push everybody onto New Providence, because you cannot provide for them on the family islands. And the argument is, and I think, again, those of us in the South, we see it after there is a destructive hurricane, there's hardly any assistance, in my opinion, my personal opinion, or the assistance is very slow in coming to help and repair.
Yeah, wow. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. And we got a lot of your text messages getting in. We have a lot to talk about on this Monday morning. But let's hear from you. Let's see if these calls are still here. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free as well, 242-300-5720 if you are on a family island. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Deandra.
Hi, good morning.
You both of you are basically spoke to a myriad of issues that the country has been facing for quite some time, and the populace have been addressing them. In particular, diversification of our economy onto the family islands. It's been a long, thought, drawn-out process in terms of conversation for quite some time. We spoke to getting proper infrastructure, especially ambulatory services, fire services, banks, and so on and so forth, on some of these major islands where we could depopulate Nassau. The current perception here in Nassau is that this is a deliberate act to get everybody to come to Nassau to make it, or New Providence, to make it easier for the government to offer services instead of putting the services on the other islands to encourage persons who live here in Nassau who they don't really want to be here in Nassau because of what's going on. I mean, New Providence, as it is going on. And they will wish and desire to go back to their individual islands, but because these infrastructures are not in place, they are forced to remain here. So the thing is, like we said, Michael, for instance, which includes also on the periphery, Long Island, San Salvador, and so on and so forth. Could you imagine putting certain essentials within the Michael, even if it means you use one of the islands as a hub? It makes it easier for persons to migrate to there to get the services, and then migrate to Nassau or triage to Nassau if it becomes necessary. But we talk about visionary leaders, and it seems as if there's no vision in a lot of our leaders. And this is not just this particular government, but successive governments. And we've been talking about this. So I believe, personally, if we would get the services, even if it means a PPP, where the Bahamian people owns a stake into what the infrastructure is on behalf of the government, let the people on these islands begin to have shares into these things, into these infrastructures that's coming, so the people on those particular islands benefit. That's their tax dollars at work. But nobody's really, it appears no one is thinking to this level so the people don't feel enslaved to come here to Nassau, New Providence. Let them stay on the islands. My last point here would be, as far as the CCTV systems are concerned, which is something I specialize in. CCTV, you cannot go there and announce where these cameras are working and where they are not working. It has to be a partnership between the CCTV that the police monitor, as well as the citizenry who have their own private camera systems. That is how it's done around the world. But, basically, with the CCTV system, yes, the police will have certain elements or gather certain intelligence using their system, but the public then becomes a backup to that system, whereas you may begin to get more frontal or more facial recognition from being closer to the subjects than the cameras would on top. The police cannot manage or man 300 cameras at a particular time. Their eyes will not be able to do it. This is where our public now comes into play to assist the police with this matter. And lastly, I think I heard the Prime Minister has launched an initiative where the public is being incentivized with giving them information or access to individual residential systems. When I say access to the systems, the residents of these places are actually giving police intelligence, allowing them to come in and see footage, allowing them to download footage from their systems, and use it in combination with what they have to combat crime in these particular areas. So we cannot discount the police. We cannot discount what it is that they're doing out there. And my last point would be perhaps the police may need, or the company that is monitoring on behalf of the police may need to do a quick tour and allow the public to see the cameras that they are actually viewing at this particular time, not specifically targeting any particular area, but to allow to see what the infrastructure is doing. So it boosts that confidence out here that police do have eyes on the ground, as in terms of the investment that they made in CCTV in these areas.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call this morning.
Thanks a lot. I don't know if it's incentivized. I mean, it might be, but I know they were asking people to volunteer their cameras, right? They were asking everyone to join in and be a part of the community.
There was also some backlash on social media saying that, if I recall correctly again, and maybe it wasn't as loud as I thought it was, but when I saw it, it echoed some of the conversations going on in other countries, actually, where persons were saying they didn't want to give access to the system to the police or whatnot like that because they didn't trust how long that access would be, whatnot like that. Fear mongering and things like that. So again, and if such things exist, we have to continuously remind people that they exist. If we're able to keep on saying that crime is happening, the crime is happening today, it happened yesterday, whatnot like that, then reiterate the different ways that you can assist. Not necessarily in the same speech, of course, right? But maybe have a continuous, consistent public relations campaign where you're talking about these different things. Take out ads in the paper, go on TikTok, go on social media. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I think it was a great idea, Jeff. They definitely need to, that's what we were talking about, show us that it's working, right?
Yes.
Let us see. This is, right, the command center, and we can look at, we've got almost every part of the island covered, and we're watching this and that and that and that. We dare them to do it. Impress us. What are they waiting for? And that would be a deterrent all by itself, right?
Now, to go to what the caller is saying, I could also agree that we don't want to say publicly which ones are not working. But at the same time, how do we hold them accountable?
You could tell.
Right? No, I think we could, right?
Yeah.
But then on top of that, like what you were saying right there, have the thing shown. Let's see if it all is working and whatnot like that. And then you can play around with that and say that these are not all of them that are working, so that way the people can target. We need to do something. Where's the accountability? At the end of the day, where is the accountability?
Yeah.
Can we tune in somewhere? I could share a feed right now from another country.
Oh, I was going to say, cities all over the world you can see. And you drop a piece of paper there, you will get a ticket.
You have persons, just like how we would listen to talk shows or watch television stations, there are persons who literally will continue to just watch that. And then you can call in, hey, I just saw vehicle license plate, do this. And then that's another avenue of incentivizing. Listen, our people are hurting. Let's provide more ways to earn money.
Oh, you
maybe
paid for that. Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Interesting. Well, maybe you get some out of the cut from the fine the person gets.
Maybe something
that they pay.
Listen,
maybe.
If there's a will,
right.
There's a way.
We can be creative with it. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
Yeah, maybe those cameras should be able to pivot. I've never seen one move yet. They should be able to zoom. The minute a gun goes off, the spot shutter should be linked to the cameras in that area, and they should all be activated. The technology is just sitting right in our hands, but maybe we need to force the government, because they want to manage this serendipitous approach hoping things happen well and so forth. But, the Bahamians were calling for reforms from long time ago. But, the Prime Minister forbids us to publicly publish in international media what's going on in the Bahamas. And I think one way to force them to move would be for my friend in Russia to take out an ad every time in the Miami Herald and update the world as to what's going on in the Bahamas. And I think if that is done through a secure socket layer, the people who claim to be managing this country would be pivoted to move. I think we need to expose them, and that would be a good solution because the Bahamians are tired of it.
All right, I'm afraid to ask, but you need to explain that part again about your friend in Russia taking an ad in the Miami Herald about the Bahamas. Who, what, where, when, what?
That way you won't be able to track through IP address as to who's doing it.
Uh-huh.
Because, they're coming after you once they realize that you're publishing. But if you do it from somewhere where you're secure, then you could be pretty well sure that your publication's coming out and they're gonna move.
Okay.
All right, good.
Okay. Is that caller there? Yeah, let's take that one really quickly before we get to these messages in the break. Are you there? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Strong. Good morning, DeAndre.
Hi.
Good morning.
It was this DeAndre from the Eye Opener.
Yes.
DeAndre, your voice has changed. I barely can recognize it, but it sounds great. Mr. Strong, I listen to the callers. I listen to Jeff, which gave a great input to enhance the biometrics to be able to identify people, et cetera, et cetera. But obviously, a lot of them are naive to the criminal element and psyche. Guys would put on masks. They would steal cars. And so just like if I go home and I see someone go in my house or go in my yard with a camera, that doesn't impede them if I don't have a dog, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really a mindless conversation, Dwight, because it will help solve the crime, but it wouldn't stop the crime. Okay, Dwight? And so condolences to Yellow and his family, the guy who was shot. Dwight, I know this guy. It's a young guy. I mean, you might have seen him, Dwight. He drives a horse and carriage, okay? But I know when his daughter was born, and I see him all the time. But, that corner actually has no CT camera because that's where they used to, I think his family used to fix the motorbike there, and then there's Eddie's Electrical. I traverse through there all the time on a cycle to go to the health shop. But the thing is, Dwight, we don't know what's the reason, but, he's with his child and he's pulled up. But this guy's very quiet. So the thing is, what you think about me, Dwight, who know all these young people who are getting killed? I just know these guys, and it's really hurtful because I've never even heard this guy I've never seen him gotten an argument with anybody. He's always by himself. I don't know it befuddles me. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Strachan?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want people to pass no judgment because they don't know these guys. And so even with people, sometimes you have to get perspective from the inner city, because most people have no idea. But Dwight, I wanted to comment on what Stopper was talking about with the hospitals. So what happens, Dwight? We know that there's a financial problem to putting hospitals on every island, right, Dwight? Mm. So why don't the powers that are in existence, right? Why haven't they conceived the idea of doing like a tri-island or a tetra-island implementation in which, let's say we got Marijuana, Ragged Island, all those places to the south. We don't have to put hospital on all these islands. What we could do is we could put infrastructure in some islands and make air travel more compatible and more affordable. And so, like if something happens to somebody, Marijuana, Inagua, et cetera, in the south, we're looking at air travel, the expense of it, getting to Nassau. So maybe they could put one in Long Island, Ragged Island, and then whatever. Let's say they have Freeport. So it will be wise to enhance Freeport medical facilities. So then you have Bimini, Andros, and Bimini, and Cat Key, and all of those places, and all them. They'll be able to access Freeport. And then you'll have like a central one for Lutra. You have to do something, right? It just can't be on every island. You see what I'm saying, Mr. Strachan?
I totally understand.
Get people to inter islands, and then they'll know. Instead of everybody coming to Nassau, because we all agree with that concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're looking at the situation with the hospital where they're putting in. I agree with DeAndre because I've heard horror stories that people wanted me to voice about their post delivery symptoms and problems in which they send home young females without even giving them an MRI scan to find if they're bleeding, if the placenta is still, portions of the placenta is still left into the wombs, et cetera, et cetera. And we've heard horror stories, but the thing is with us, right, we don't like to bring things to the surface and discuss things that we don't want to, like the people, it's like a plantation, right? We have to be able to discuss things that we don't want to talk about. We saw a police officer mixed up in some foolishness the other day, right, in the Grove, right? And so the question is, how many jump out did he did? Who was he? So we all in denial. DeAndre mentioned something very profound for me. Accountability. It goes all around. It's not accountability is not just for the public. You're asking for reciprocity from the public, but you don't think the public will just become frightened when we have seen instances in which witnesses are being breached. All these different things, the commissioner have to come forward and speak to the public. You see, the public relations entails them opening up to the public on their insubordinations and making the public feel safe, like they're doing something about rogue officers on the force. See, Dwight, they don't want to hear from people like me. Nobody wants to hear from people like me.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We got a lot of work to do. But think about it. I mean, it's a great idea about the hubs, absolutely. But Deandra, how many islands can you fly to directly from Long Island without having to go through Nassau?
None.
So,
None to my knowledge,
right?
no.
And I think that's the case for most of our islands.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to come. You're going to pass the island you want to go to have to come to New Providence to go back down to the place where you wanted to go that you could see on the way up.
They're still they're now routing us through Inagua. Like I just got my baby sister this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They routed them through Inagua. Like the flight had to go down to go to Long Island. Yeah. So it's no longer just in Sal.
Well. So we got a long way to go. But people are going to say the population isn't there for all of this. No, because everybody's on New Providence. But hey, we got a lot of your messages. We'll get to that when we get back, and we got a lot more to talk about, including 242 Day and a movie that was not allowed for public screening. I don't think ban is the right word that people are using because that means something else. But we're going to get into all of that over the next few hours into business as well. So stay tuned. Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
First on your home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Get your first look at traffic in, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In real-time traffic, we are seeing the heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway as usual from Fire Trail Roundabout straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. That's in northbound lanes there. Traffic building a bit on Tawny Williams Darling Highway as well as you approach that roundabout westbound. Over on Glasson Road, looking really good for you though, and just a bit of congestion on the JFK side as you approach that roundabout east and westbound. Over on Blue Hill Road, things are not so bad, but as you get closer to that hill, heading toward the roundabout with Independence Drive, you're going to see that traffic in front of you. And East Street is busy between the East-West Highway roundabout and Soldier Road, especially if you're heading northbound. Robinson Road building traffic as you approach Old Trail westbound, and we're seeing some heavy traffic on Soldier Road northbound towards the intersection with Wolf Village and Bernard Roads. Just a bit of congestion on Eastern Road as well. Some schools still out for midterm today. That's what we're looking at right now. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean. 7:45, 7:46 now. Time for another check of weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. High pressure centered north of the area will generate light to moderate breezes while promoting pleasant weather conditions today through tonight. Beachgoers, though, are advised to exercise caution due to marginal risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, we're looking at partly to mostly sunny, warm conditions with the chance of a stray shower in the southeast Bahamas, becoming fair and cool at night. Again, for boaters, smokecraft caution in effect for Atlantic exposures in the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today, highs getting up to around 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will remain the dominant weather feature over the next few days, maintaining stable and fair conditions. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny and a bit breezy, with a few passing showers in the southeast Bahamas, becoming mostly fair and cool at night. Wednesday, partly sunny, warm and breezy, becoming fair and mild at night. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Tired of the same old gasoline routine? Well, step into the future today and test drive an electric vehicle from Easy Car Sales. You will love the electrifying change. Visit easy242.com and dump the pump.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, we're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Save money, drive smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, we're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Start to pick on you. Just can't let them tell you what to do. You've only got one life, so live it cool. In this world of strife, you can't be a fool. Let nobody tell you what to do. You gotta be your judge and your jury too. Let nobody tell you what to do. You gotta be your judge and jury.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Deandra Cartwright on this Monday morning. So we're talking about a couple things right now. Talking about the latest murder in the country, a 16-year-old girl shot as well. And talking about the hospital, the funding is nearing completion for the new specialty hospital, the new 250-bed maternal and child hospital that the government hopes to put on New Providence Highway out there off West Bay Street. Okay, so we're getting your messages to all these. A whole lot of messages here. Let's get through these. This person says, if someone says blood is on your hands, it means that you have injured or killed someone. Yeah, we know what that means. I mean, did she mean it literally? We don't know that. But let's not get hung up on the wrong things. The people are too passive, and many here have Stockholm Syndrome towards the PLP. The PLP has politicized every institution in this country. Not much is complaining. Not many people, I guess, are saying complaining about the nonsense that's going on. Okay, but plenty of people are, so I don't understand. But okay. I believe those CCTV cameras are working. Also, with all these homes having their own cameras, it should be easy to get information when crimes occur. And take the ankle monitoring job away from the private contractors and give it to a government agency. Okay. It's inexplicable to have private people doing that type of job. No, it's not. There are pros and cons for both. Right? I get what you're trying to say, but think about it carefully now. Think about that and what could come along with that. Right? It'll be far too easy for certain people to get their hands on the footage or to order somebody, right? A minister or somebody to order the footage to be eliminated. And what are you going to do? You're going to defy your boss? I don't know. I think that's tricky. It could happen in a private company too, but much less likely. But we had lawyers on from the Bar Association just a few weeks ago, and they said that no, you don't want that to be the police or a government agency because those are the same people who are prosecuting you. If they've charged you with the crime and they are the ones monitoring you, the risks are too great that something crazy could happen. So there are pros and cons. But it might be better the way it is now. I don't know if the current company is the one, but private might be better. Based on fewer cons, and pardon any puns there. But yeah, people. This one says here. This text says, London has the best CCTV system. Yeah, who says? Why can't
they have one?
They have one that it works. Yes, many other cities will say ours is better. But anyway, they have one, definitely better than ours. Why can't we get assistance from them? We go to London for everything else. Why can't we use them? We go to London for everything else. Like
what do we go to London for?
Who are you talking about? You mean you? Well, you must be special. I don't know. Would we go to what?
I think there are other countries that we go to before we go to England.
Boy.
Or maybe there's some things we're not aware of, Dwight.
Maybe we're out of the loop. But they also have a local government system and a mayor. How about we do that too then?
That has been continuous for how many hundreds of years again?
My goodness. Okay. Also, Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road cameras cannot be working. But you're the same one who said? No, this is a different person. Yeah. For the number of incidents that go unspoken around there. No, yeah, clearly.
Well, see, that's another indication to say that the things are not working. The amount of incidents actually
yeah.
can I love statistics. Can we not also start to study the amount of incidents inside areas that are visible CCTVs, and then we can say that they're
You
not
can
a
just
deterrent,
stand there
no?
for about 2 hours and watch, and then clearly, wait a week and say, has anyone issued a warrant for that person who did that there? They turned right on the red light. They overtook 5 cars to turn right on a red light. They overtook 10 cars to turn left on a red light. But no one's doing anything. So obviously nothing's happening. Or we just don't think those things are important.
Or maybe they're prosecuting. We just don't know.
No, they're not.
No.
You know they're not.
I'm trying to keep hope alive.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
Did you say a 250-bed children's/maternity hospital? I did. Hopefully by the time it is built, we will have sufficient Bahamian nurses and ancillary staff to work there.
Yeah, it is 250 allegedly.
But
it says maternal and child hospital, which will
that's an
also
interesting point, though,
include
that they're making, right? We know that is going to be a challenge to staff to find adequate people to work there.
Are we listening to the plight of our nurses? Quite a few of my friends are. Are we actually listening to their plights? Not even just with the promotions, but the resources, the lack of resources that they're forced to work with on a daily basis. I mean, would that also be addressed within this? How many millions of dollars are we trying to get? The lack of resources available, because the horror stories.
It's going to be a theme today. Don't hold your breath.
Oh.
Should the police say to the criminals exactly where the cameras are working or not? The caller stated that our leaders don't care. How does he know this? The easiest thing to do is for everyone to call in and suggest anything that comes to their mind without taking anything into consideration. The Prime Minister has racked up. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. This person says here, didn't the Prime Minister give his national address or response to address the surge in crime recently? Has anything that was announced been implemented to date? Perhaps the Prime Minister should appreciate that you have to oversee what is spoken to holding persons to account so that it gets executed. Well, as we talked about, getting private companies to share, be a part of a network to share their footage, that definitely has started.
But I mean, I think that's a very valid point, though. All of these different proposals of how to combat crime in whichever way. Can we have periodic updates on those? I think it was a few weeks ago, Dwight, we were asking about updates on the efficacy of traffic stops and roadblocks and whatnot. And then there was a press conference, I think on a particular weekend, to update us on that. Can we not have a similar situation for these proposals that they put forward so we can see just how far or how efficient those particular actions may have been? And then perhaps a different forum to get feedback on a regular basis from the public to say, this is what we couldn't possibly do.
And as we go to the news, this texter says, heck no, buy your own cameras. I guess they're talking to the authorities. You have the resources and still no regulations regarding the body cams. Well, they have them. They just don't. It's not for us to see.
I'm still worried that we don't actually have the resources.
Hey, let me read this before we go. Dwight, I went to 9 other cruise ports, and everyone only has their countrymen working in the tourism sector, not in the Bahamas. The caller talking rubbish. How much cameras the UK have? Don't they watch theirs? Little Nassau can't, and why can't we watch? Okay, that was a lot of everything there. We'll be back with more after the news, though. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:24, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure centered north of the islands. That's going to generate light to moderate breezes while promoting some pleasant weather conditions over the next, today definitely. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution, though, due to a marginal risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions with a slight chance of stray showers in the southeast Bahamas, becoming fair and cool at night. Smoke-craft caution in effect for Atlantic exposures, especially in the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today, highs near 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will remain the dominant weather feature over the next few days, maintaining a fair and stable weather pattern. So for Tuesday, tomorrow, partly mostly sunny and a bit breezy with a few passing showers in the southeast Bahamas, becoming mostly fair and cool at night. Wednesday, partly sunny, warm and breezy, becoming fair and mild at night. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And time for another check of your traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In your real-time traffic at this hour, still not looking so bad. Again, a lot of schools are still out, it seems, for midterm. But we are seeing a bit of traffic on Eastern Road, just east of Fox Hill Road to about Johnson Road this morning. And some congestion on Soldier Road if you're heading northbound towards the intersection with Village, Wolf, and Bernard Road. And Old Trail, that area is looking congested on Robinson, if you're in that area. And Mile Butler Highway, looking pretty good at this hour, but the traffic is backed up along Tawny Quilmes Darling Highway if you're heading westbound. Some of the story on Glaston Road, not much to talk about, but just as you get closer to the roundabout, you'll see some traffic there. West Bay Street is where we're seeing some issues. Eastbound towards New Providence Highway, especially as you approach Saunders Beach. And then along Arawak Key and heading into downtown there, Nassau Street, you can see a lot of traffic there if you're heading eastbound. Those are your hot spots this morning. That's your real-time traffic. And your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean.
Buying your new ride is a very personal experience with many decisions to make. That's why we leave the car choice to you and ask that you leave the rest to one of our RBC Auto Finance specialists, trained to provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream car a reality. The RBC Auto Finance team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/lovemyride to connect with an RBC Auto Finance specialist in your area.
Here's the Sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. We also have airbrush paint. I don't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp, stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store, find colour in every day.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
So I'm flying back to the island, so let's go. When you're heading big, that drum and calypso. Na. There's a party going on. Talk on no till the break of dawn. Sweet music, man, it makes everyone lose control. Everybody, here we go, here we go. It's better in the bomb. Everybody, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we got it going on. Everybody, here we go, here we go. It's better in the bomb. And we got it going on. One night till the break of dawn. If you from the 242, put your hand up, don't extend up for the 242.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair coming up just in a few days from the Guardian Group. Details about that in just a few minutes. And I just want to get through the last year text messages on what we've been talking about all morning. And okay, my goodness gracious. Texter, you're texting the wrong station. We can't help you there. You need to. Someone's asking about that's a different station. Sorry. Okay. Will the China Exim Bank insist on using Chinese labor or materials for the construction of this new hospital?
Let's look at the precedent that has been set and other such arrangements.
My goodness. The fact, this is back. We're back and forth between the hospital and the murder over the weekend. Dwight, this is the problem with old people. What now? Your caller said the police wouldn't be able to eye 300 cameras at a time. Kindly tell your caller that you do not need to man anything. You simply record and rewind the footage back. This old generation really needs to go into a nursing home. You don't have to be this mean, texter.
Let's be nice.
Right.
Let's be nice.
But see, that's a problem, right? Because that means you won't see. There's got to be a better way. Because that means that you're going to need to know about something in order to be looking at the footage. So you're just recording and some people won't report it.
But I'm sure, isn't there a way to automate these systems that if there's a particular action that occurs
you would hope.
in the footage?
I mean, that sounds like really high tech. But that I would hope, right?
But I'm pretty sure that's available technology.
If I'm getting mugged,
causes me now to question, which version of CCTV do we have?
Beta.
Oh, dear
Beta
Lord,
testing
no.
one.
No.
Yeah.
No. It can't be. Can somebody tell me which version of CCTV that we have? Wait, I really need
before it was released. Anyway, they go on to say the mere fact that skipping is asking people to say what they saw means that it's not working. Oh boy. This texture says here, I wish we think we read this already. I wish we could give that project to the team that built the U.S. Embassy to manage. A new hospital is too important to the future of the country to play games with overpriced contracts, poor quality construction in order to siphon money off to your empire and pot of gold. Who said that's happening? And then they go on to about the CCTV in London. London does it. They have a control center and they monitor possibly hundreds of cameras. The government has yet to say what privacy controls they've put in place for the use of the privately owned cameras. Would you want some unknown person having access to your camera system that covers both your external and internal movements? It is not fear-mongering to ask how will you access the system. How can I be assured you don't have random access for thrills? Okay. No joke, there are guests and winter residents picking up the garbage thrown on the streets here in Exuma. That's random text here, but that's interesting.
Maybe if we're talking about some of the infrastructure on islands, maybe that's what they're focused on, garbage collection.
The guests? Everybody should be picking up garbage that they see somewhere, right? No? But you mean that's what they go around doing that?
Yeah, maybe.
Boy. My 4K 12-channel home surveillance system didn't cost more than $600. That $200,000 trip the Prime Minister wasted in Orlando could cover Nassau with cameras, just saying. Dwight, I'm sending this to you again. If you want a brand new world, you got to have a brand new people. The problem starts at the top. In other words, the Parliament. Let's start looking at our options. Yikes. And this one says...
We look at our options every time there's an election, but yet we do the same thing every time, no?
Limited options. Limited. Dwight, people don't sit around with their eyes glued to the CCTV screen. That's what the cameras are for. The CCTV is used to capture events so you can review it. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. So the challenge there is that sometimes people don't. This is why people are getting away with all the stuff that they're getting away with, right? That you're running the lights and you're doing the stuff because no one's sitting there watching it, and then no one thinks, let me go back and see if everyone obeyed the traffic laws today. Apparently, right? So this is why, if they're working, people think they can get away with anything because nobody's penalizing us. And that's unfortunate.
I love to research as we're talking, right? So I'm looking at this thing. And AI is actually being utilized to assist with monitoring CCTV footage. And so essentially what's now happening, it's saying that there are currently remote monitoring companies utilizing AI through third-party alarm filtering software, meaning that regardless of the alerts being sent from the CCTV system on site where the alert is received, is going to be run through the alarm filtering software to determine if it's a genuine or false prior to presenting to an operator. And the AI literally can learn from the footage, like it'll study the footage to determine, or it can be taught.
You don't have this one.
No, I know, but I'm just saying what exists, right?
We'll get that maybe in 20 years.
20? You think 20 years, maybe 30?
40?
50? Happy independence.
As high as you can go. 100th anniversary. But yeah, that sounds great. That's the first time I heard of anything involving AI that I was excited about. This person says that data analytics, now called AI, the same thing you just read, has been available for many years to monitor CCTV. It is not possible and proven that a human cannot effectively monitor more than 2 to 3 cameras. The brain cannot actively monitor multiple scenes in detail. AI is for active monitoring. Humans review after the fact, right? Exactly. That's what you need, active monitoring. And clearly that is not happening. So you got to figure out, there was an incident there, or let me go back through 2 days of footage to see if I can find it.
But that's if the footage is actually being stored. I had a friend who was involved, was the victim of a particular crime. And by the time as the police were ready or able to go and check the area, whatnot, the businesses had already, they wipe. So their systems wipe the footage every 24 hours.
Oh, dear God.
And I think that's actually the case with a lot of persons.
That's too short.
They will clean it because they simply don't have the storage capacities. But going back to the little article that I was reading, CCTV has been around since the 60s, if not before.
Well, this is what people are saying. This is old technology. What are we talking about here?
So therefore, what I'm talking about should be where we're headed. We should be updating.
These are just...
Moving forward, investing into these things. Are we not talking about the future? Are we not the future? How long are we going to stick to this argument that we're a small country, that we're developing, that we cannot do this, we cannot do that, when clearly we can? We can do it. The money is somewhere around there. Now, is it being properly utilized? I mean, that's a matter of debate. But we can do, these things are quite possible.
Yeah. All right, let's take this call really quickly, and then we need to move on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Strachan. Sorry for calling
Hi,
back, but
really
this is
quick.
something I'm not hearing people talking about. DeAndre mentioned it, the innovations with the technology. But if in China, they can send you a fine for throwing a piece of paper. Obviously, the technology is available, right? But here's what nobody's talking about, Mr. Strachan. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
We're listening.
The fact that a criminal can hack into the system or install a camera and make it look like he's from a company and actually send information to another criminal, and they can know exactly when you're home and what's going on. And they're not talking about it, but I'm sure it's being done, okay?
Okay. All right.
I mean, that is also quite possible.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So we got to go to a break. But hey, 242 Day over the weekend, Saturday. You did some things.
Yeah. Yes, I did. If I may say, I enjoyed a lovely bowl because it said that you can wear your colors, you can eat a Bahamian dish, listen to Bahamian music. So I went to the Long Island Association South and had myself a good, delicious bowl of stew fish from home.
Nice.
It was so good. Oh my goodness. It was so, I sat in my, because I was on the go as always. I sat in my car and I savored that. I think it was Snap in a Day. Oh my gosh. That was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at the fish fry. I had some for 2 days. I had so conch, a lot of conch, and so that was good stuff there. I just want to say one thing. I'm glad everybody is getting on board with this and doing what I'm still wearing my
yes, you are.
today.
For everybody who cannot see, Dwight is in his Road to 50 shirt showing off our national colors.
It's still
on
doing
this
it.
bright,
Still
beautiful
today,
Monday
making
morning.
this a 4-day thing. But you know,
Why not?
I saw some people, and I know it's going to take some time to get people on board with this, right? But the resistance is perplexing to me. People posting comments like, what's the point of this? What is this? And this thinking it's political, and what's the government trying to do to deflect from what? And I'm like, oh boy. But these are going to be the same people who are going to be piled up in some place to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day, things that have nothing to do
I
with
thought
us.
we look for reasons to celebrate things in this country.
Apparently
I thought
not
that
Bahamian things.
Not Bahamian things. So do
apparently
we
not.
look down on our own things? Would we
Some
celebrate
people-
others?
some people clearly do.
That's what it is?
Some people
So we're
clearly
so
do.
stuck in that mentality then. Why can we not celebrate our countries? I go back to the point where we were first discussing this in the lead up to 242 Day, that other countries in the world have national days, have flag days, have their independence days were applicable. Why isn't, I was so happy when we got 240, when they started talking about it last time we actually did it, I was like, finally. And I actually had some of my international friends, when I posted the photo and say, today is 242 Day, and I explained what it was, they were like, congratulations to your country, Deandra, on coming this far. I was like, yes, we finally have one of these days. Other countries have these days, guys. We should be happy to celebrate. It's another opportunity to show off our love of country.
Yeah.
But why are we thinking of it in a negative way?
I don't understand.
Let's break those chains.
Yeah. Disturbing stuff, but hopefully we're going to keep working on it. I guess
Every year, let's reinforce it, and maybe we can have a longer lead up to it, because I think some people may be independenced out a little bit.
Really?
Maybe.
What?
But it's like, give us some time.
Oh boy.
Remind us.
Let's go to the break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the healthy, wealthy, and wise fair. That's after this break here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Life is unpredictable, so when the unexpected pops up and you need cash fast, you can handle it in easy-to-manage bite-sized payments with a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay. With Scotia Select Pay, you can take a lower-interest cash advance on your Scotia credit card in 3, 6, 9, or 12 monthly bite-sized payments. When the unforeseen strikes, trust a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay, the new, easy, and useful way to get cash now and pay later in convenient bite-sized payments that won't break your budget. Try it now on the Scotia mobile app or via Scotia Online.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
So I'm flying back to the island, so let's go. When you're heading big, that drum and calypso. Na-na-na, going on. Jack on no till the break of dawn. Sweet music, man, it makes everyone lose control. Everybody, here we go, here we go. It's better in the bomb. Everybody, here we go.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with Deandra Cartwright, and it's coming. It is almost here. The Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair is coming up from the Guardian Group, and they're here to talk about it. Very pleased to welcome Natasha Brown, and we have Alphanique Newbold from the Walking Clinic. Ladies, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Dwight. Good morning, to everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here and be a part of such wonderful events like this.
All right, so you are well-known fitness coach, enthusiast. What are you going to be doing, Natasha?
I think my task on Saturday is going to be just doing some fitness demonstrations. And so I am looking forward to a lot of the older audience, the more mature ones, who can come out and really find some of the better stretches that they can do. Because we have a lot of the older adults dealing with the sciatic nerve. And a lot of persons aren't walking properly. They're not stretching. They want to work out, but they've been bombarded for so long with not being able to move. Wow. So I am hoping that a lot of them can get out there and I'm able to show them some better ways that you can stretch, get down on and off the ground, and just be really proactive and positive in the move where you are with your health.
So you want people to come to work out. Yeah. Come in your workout clothes.
Come in your workout clothing and get down and learn some things so that you're able to help yourself when you're not in a class or not able to get to the doctor for help.
What age groups are you targeting here?
Well, if you're 50 and over, most definitely. And then there are some younger persons who don't have an idea on what stretching is. They don't understand what working out really entails. It's not just lifting weights or being in a class. There are some things that we have to do to prepare the body so that your body understands what it needs to go through as we age.
Let's talk a little more about that, stretching, how important that is, what that entails, and doing it right.
Very important, Dwight, because you have to prepare the muscles. Let's take, for instance, there are probably going to be a lot of persons there who have tennis shoes, know that they need to stretch, but don't understand what it means. And when you say stretching, I don't mean just bending from the torso area, touching your toes. It's a little bit more than that, or just trying to take your hand behind your head. It is literally getting into a stooping position where you're able to stretch out the lower part of your back and then be able to extend your legs out to the sides, because you've got your hip flexors, your groin area, and a lot of times people don't even know what they are. But you are affected because it's intricately the way God designed our bodies, is that you got to be able to stretch the hamstrings, that's in the back of the leg. Anything that's leading up from your Achilles, up through the back of the knee, up through the gluteus maximus, that's the deepest part of the butt, that affects, all of that is connected somewhat with the nerves. So when you're not stretching, meaning that you're not really allowing your body to lengthen itself, and a lot of times, we only understand these things when we have a bad fall or something like that. So I will be able to explain, not so much even explain, but demonstrate it to a lot of persons who may not be familiar with this thing.
And how often should you be stretching?
Every day.
Every day.
Because you need your body every day. You need your body to get up out of bed. And that's one of the biggest problems a lot of people have, trying to get out of bed. And then when you get out of bed, then what are you going to do? You got to get dressed. You got to put your shoes on. You got to put on your clothing. Even that, you got to bathe. What if the soap drops in the tub? What are you going to do? Wow. So all these different things, and a lot of accidents happen literally in the tub. Soap, water, you slide, you miss your balance. So all of these things are very important 50 plus before then, but even 50 plus, it's even more important.
Wow. So, okay, the fair starts at 10 o'clock. What time are you going to be doing your demonstrations?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to be there from the beginning.
Okay.
And
You're
even
gonna be
if
there all
I'm
day.
not on, I'm going to be there all day
excellent.
because I know that this is one of the number one things that we're dealing with and that I've been having to go into homes and assist with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Natasha Brown, we're looking forward to it. Seeing you on Saturday. Thank you
Yes,
so much for
thank you
being here.
too.
Appreciate it.
And blessings to everyone who's listening.
Thank you very much. All right. Alphanique Newbold Walk-In Clinic. Tell us about what you all are going to be doing on Saturday.
Good morning. On Saturday, we are going to have a booth there at the fair all day to do health screenings. So you can come and get your blood pressure checked. You can come and get BMI, your weight, your blood glucose checked, all free of charge at the Walk-In Clinic's booth. We'll also have giveaways, surprises, prizes, all the good stuff.
Wow. Okay. Now, how important is it to be checking on these things? And how frequently should you do it?
It's absolutely essential to have these screenings done. And this goes for virtually all age groups. Your blood pressure is a very good indicator of what's going on with your cardiac system. And you pretty much want to make sure those are kept, at a good 120/80. And our nursing team will be there to explain what these numbers mean. With BMI, it's not a 100% definitive indicator of good or bad health, but it helps your healthcare team to kind of get a good idea of where you are. And there's some back and forth with BMI, but it does give some information to your health providers. Of course, with the weight, there's a big ongoing debate internationally about what is a healthy weight, what is all this good stuff. The fact of the matter is, all the studies show that when you are overweight, obese, that leads to a greater chance of you developing some non-communicable health issue. So it's good to know what your weight is. It's not good to know what your healthy weight is, not necessarily in comparison to your brother or your sister or your friends, but what your healthy weight is. So the blood glucose. Blood glucose is a good indicator of people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, and it can lead to further tests. And it's always good. We have a very high preponderance of diabetes in this country, and it's always good to know what your blood glucose is. There's a range, and all of this will be shared. We have takeaway cards for everybody, so you can use these cards and come visit us at the Walk-In Clinic and bring these cards with you, and we can do further tests. You can get your annual physicals at the walk-in, bring these cards so that the nursing team can know, okay, you got checked at the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair. Now let's do some further checks to see what your health really is.
And if you, when you're doing the blood pressure test and you see some numbers, both of them, well over 200 and 100, what happens then?
Well, I hope the Guardian has an ambulance there. But what we would do is if you walk up to our booth and any of your metrics, particularly blood pressure, because that's the one that's emergent if it's too high. The recommendation is, of course, we need you to go see a healthcare provider. And that's in the absence of any symptoms. If you don't have dizziness, headaches, blurred vision, and all that stuff. If you come and say, I have a headache and your blood pressure is 250 over 150, then you need to go to the emergency room.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. So what else can we expect from Walk-In Clinic out there?
As
You're
I
going to be
said,
there all day.
Yeah, we're going to be there all day from 10 to 4. We have our booth. We have our people primed not only to do these checks, but to just advise. We have our strong medical staff who's going to be there. We also have prizes and surprises. We have a location that's at the mall. So we're going to be giving out special prizes and surprises for people who go to that location and get further health checks done with our physicians and our nursing staff there.
Excellent. All right, so it's all happening Saturday, the Mall Marathon, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Fair. And as you heard, there are going to be aerobic demonstrations with Natasha Brown, and outdoor fitness Bahamas, RF exposure, superior care, CPR demo, walk-in clinic, free health screenings, product sampling, and info. But there'll also be musical performances. So look at that. This is a real everything happening type of fair. You got Shine, Johnny Cake, Carrington McKenzie,
and the Rush
Blotty,
Out.
and a Saxons Rush Out. Saxons.
Saxons.
Now, just because
who's
your name
behind
is
that.
Saxon,
Right,
still somehow,
obviously Alvanique might have had a hand in this with the Saxons. Interesting. Hey, that's cool. And participating vendors, you got Kalina, Boost, Johnson & Johnson, Fast Up, Nature's Bounty, Rhoda Hanna, New Life, Natural Vegetation, Walk-In Medical Clinic, Wax Moi, Essence Med Spa, Abbott Nutrition, Fabulous Ronnie, CIBC Bank, Bar Salt, and Bahamas Hearing Clinic. All going to be up there Saturday, March 2nd at the Mall Marathon, the Guardian Media Group presenting Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. Come out there for the free screenings and to get some of these great products are going to be given out there. Alfanique Newbold, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good to be here.
And thank you to Natasha Brown, who was with us earlier. We're going to take a break, and we're going to get to the news, and then we've got Morning Blend Business coming up in just a bit. So stay with us. A lot more Morning Blend to come.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Life is unpredictable, so when the unexpected pops up and you need cash fast, you can handle it in easy-to-manage bite-sized payments with a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay. With Scotia Select Pay, you can take a lower-interest cash advance on your Scotia credit card in 3, 6, 9, or 12 monthly bite-sized payments. When the unforeseen strikes, trust a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay, the new, easy, and useful way to get cash now and pay later in convenient bite-sized payments that won't break your budget. Try it now on the Scotia mobile app or via Scotia online.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef, it's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Here's the Sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, a little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I don't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp,
clays.
stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, February 26th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. And this morning we are getting details about the fast approaching REO, that's the RF Bank and Trust Economic Outlook for 2024. And here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to welcome from RF Bank and Trust, we have Kristen Duncombe and Rachel Alahar. Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Morning, Dwight. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
All right, so how many years has this been going on now, the Economic Outlook?
Boy, I think this is our 11th year.
Oh, wow. Excellent. All right, so, and, it definitely is well known, especially in the business community. But for those who aren't familiar, tell us about the aims and objective of the Economic Outlook.
Right, so the RF Bahamas Economic Outlook, affectionately known as RFBEO, is really an event that's supposed to bring together public and private sectors, entrepreneurs, professionals, anyone really, students, so that we can discuss the trending and hot topics that are impacting the world we know it today. So everything from the business community to your personal lives. So this year our theme is Age of Intelligence, Harnessing the Power. So definitely tying into what you guys were chatting about earlier with AI, that'll play a huge theme in all of the conversations that we have this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is exciting and also terrifying stuff, isn't it? My goodness. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that will be focused on with the conference in relation to intelligence and this age of intelligence.
Yeah, so AI, of course, hot first thing we'll talk about is AI, where it is today, where it's going to go in the future, what people are expecting is going to happen, and how to navigate that. Really, how are regulations going to come into place? What about ethics when it comes into AI? How do we safeguard the vulnerable? So we're going to have a lot of discussions around those. And then we're going to jump right into unpacking economic and geopolitical pressures, which also ties into the AI space. So what's happening with the wars, what's happening with the elections? Is AI having anything to do with that? And how are people safeguarding these elections from AI? And addressing the latest viable options in climate change for the Caribbean. So we've heard a lot from Prime Minister Davis recently about carbon offsetting and blue carbon credits. So we're going to dive into all of that. We have AG Ryan Pinder who will be joining us for a panel discussion specifically on that so we can understand the potential and the impacts.
Okay. All right. And you have a lot of international speakers as well, right? Tell us about those folks.
We do. So we have 5 international speakers, experts in their own right. So we have Kevin Serres, who's a Silicon Valley innovator and leader in AI. We have Ruman Chowdhury, who's the responsible AI fellow at Harvard University, and she was the former director of AI ethics at Twitter, now known as X. We have Anu Bradford, who's a professor at Columbia Law, and she's going to be taking us through the global and economic shifts. And then we have Dr. James Fletcher, who's actually the former minister of St. Lucia, who was responsible with energy and technology. And then to close things off on a high note, to motivate us all, is Jerome Rand, who's a sailor and adventurer, and he's known for sailing nonstop around the world.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. All right.
That's a nice addition.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. How do you register? And give us details about that and what folks need to do. Are there any deadlines ahead? What can you tell us?
Well, we know people are last minute, but we'd love for you guys to register this week. That would be great. But yeah, you can register if you're ready to pay with a credit card anytime, any place, right online at rfbeo.com. That's rfbeo.com. Registration is open. It's all going down on March 13th, so the countdown is on. And we do offer a load of discounts because we really want to make it accessible to everybody, not just the business community. So we have discounts for students, we have discounts for people who are part of professional associations, discounts for groups of 5 or more. And to get information on those, you can just email us at marketing@rfgroup.com.
All right. And what are the costs? What can you tell us about that?
So the costs starting at $400. So that's the individual ticket before you get any discounts on it.
Okay. All right. And as you said, there are quite a few of those available discounts. All right. So I want to hear from you all about AI and what your views are. I know just curious about what you're thinking and what you're hoping will come out of the outlook this year. That will be encouraging folks. Encouraging folks. Rachel, you going first?
No, I'll let
Kristen.
go first.
I'm going to go first.
You go first.
So I feel that what people can take away from the conference as it relates to AR is the positive and the negative effects of AI. Like, we all know that people are already using like the AI applications that are assisting us with various tasks like ChatGPT, etc. But there are going to be some adverse effects to these AIs, and we also don't know what is the limit when it comes to AI. So this would be a good conference to come and find out like how some of these things are going to affect us not only now but in the long term. And for large and small businesses, how you can implement these things or safeguard your companies from AI.
Yeah, are you feeling positive? Are you feeling encouraged? You feeling good about it?
I mean, I'm a bit tacky, so I have positive feelings about AI, but then I'm a movie buff, and so all those end of world movies are really getting to me as well. So I think I'm just on the line in the middle.
Yeah, and as a movie buff, are you worried that they're going to AIs will resurrect some actors who passed away decades ago, and the AIs will be writing all the movies, and AIs will be directing and doing everything as well. Does that scare you?
It is an unwarranted fear, but yes, it does.
Okay.
Like I've gone into those McDonald's where there are no humans that work there, and it freaks me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So it's not unwarranted. Be afraid. Be afraid. Yeah, that's something else. Wow. Rachel, what about you?
I think I was always very optimistic until I learned a little bit more about the hallucinations. So they call it when AI just makes stuff up and puts it out there like it's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that now, and based on what I've been reading up on and hearing about, developers are aware of this. Everybody's aware of it, and they think it's something that they can program into the system so that it doesn't do it anymore. The whole concern that I have is how motivated are the developers and are the big companies like your Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, whoever else, to do the right thing, to implement ethics, to really have somebody over their shoulder, big brother, making sure that they're doing the right thing. So it's a money-making machine, and we just have to find out how to regulate it and incentivize the businesses that are leading the charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And that's a serious question there, right? Yeah, that's the fear. And on a Bahamian perspective, what are you all thinking? What are you all
It
thinking
sort of
here?
levels the playing field, I think, with AI. I mean, once you have the skill set, it's not like you have to have a huge amount of money to develop these things. So I think it could really level the playing field if we invest in the education for our country now, so that we can compete.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's key. Absolutely. Someone's messaging us saying this is a story. Is this today? No, last week. Tyler Perry halts $800 million studio expansion due to AI advancements.
Ooh.
That's got to read.
That sounds
more
like a
about that.
cop out. I'm
That
sorry.
sounds very interesting there. All right.
Actually, if I can go back to the outlook itself, because I'm
Mhm.
very much curious. Can you tell us a bit more about the session, the insight that's going to be proposed on the unpacking economic and geopolitical pressures? I think that's something that our people need to hear a bit more, that sometimes these occurrences that impact our countries, our islands really, is really a result from what's occurring in other parts of the world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have upcoming elections in a number of countries. I think the US, South Africa, and Russia are among those, but it's like 5 different countries that are going to be holding elections this year. And we all know that with new regimes, they bring their own thoughts and opinions. We all saw the MAGA movement last time, right? So imagine how that can have impacts for us if Trump is elected again. And what are the impacts it'll have on the other crises that are happening around the world, like the war in Ukraine, the war that's happening with Israel. So what is Trump's position on that? And what are the other leaders' positions on that? Are they going to continue supporting? What side are they going to support? And all of that then impacts oil supply chains, and that trickles down to how much we pay for gas and everything else, right? So really looking at a macro perspective, we'll have Anu Bradford, and then we're going to drill down into these conversations about, okay, well, what can these impacts look like in a local space?
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. How many people can you accommodate with the outlook?
I'll get a bigger room if I have to.
Oh, okay. So who's ever interested, come on down. Come on down.
Yeah.
Is there a virtual option for those that may be unable to attend in person?
Unfortunately, we're not doing virtual this year. So we're really hoping that everybody will be able to come out, or as many people as possible are able to come out. These discussions need to happen, and it's great to have collaboration and just being in the room sometimes to seep up the information and, get some brain starts on new ideas and collaborate and network with the people who are in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so one more time, remind us of the dates, what people need to know if they want to register. Give us all that information again.
So it's March 13th at Grand Hyatt Bahamar Convention Center. If you want to register, you're going to log into www.rfbeo.com, and that's where you can register. And if you have other questions or concern, you can always email marketing@rfgroup.com.
Okay. All right. Always exciting. And after the event, all these great speeches, all the things we're going to hear, how will people be able to access that information? Is that going to be possible if they want to learn more and read more about what was said?
For sure. So attendees will be able to have unlimited access to recordings from the event. We've also partnered with one of our sponsors, Alive and Cable Bahamas, so they will air it at a later date. It hasn't been specified when on their program, on their channel. So looking forward to that as well.
Okay. All right. This is great stuff, as always. Rachel Alahar and Kristen Duncombe, thank you so much for sharing the information. The RF Bank & Trust Economic Outlook, March 13th. Get registered now, folks, right?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you all so much. Great information, a lot to think about this morning. All right, we're going to take a break and be back with more Morning Blend Business in just a bit. Stay with us here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day. What?
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
March 8th, 2024 is International Women's Day. Guardian Media wants all Bahamians to truly inspire inclusion. It's not just something we should say or something we should write about. It's something we need to think about, know, and embrace. It's what we should believe in unconditionally. This International Women's Day, Guardian Media wants you and your company to inspire inclusion. Celebrate the women in your organization this International Women's Day by placing them in an ad in our International Women's Day supplement. For more information, call 302-2300 or contact your account executive. The aim of the International Women's Day 2024 campaign is to collectively forge a more inclusive world for women. International Women's Day, March 8th, 2024. Inspire inclusion.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
You've heard of electric cars. Now it's time you drive one. Easy Car Sales welcomes you to experience the power and prestige of the latest electric vehicles. Plug in at home for a 65% discount off your gas bill and never get stuck at the pump again. Build your dreams of a better future with a better car, the BYD EV. Visit easy242.com to book your free test drive today. Save your money while driving in style, only at Easy Car Sales.
Simplify lending's at an easier way. Writing your tomorrow, starting today. Simplify lending for simplified living. Tuition, vacation, or a home redo. Simplify lending's here for you. Simplify lending for simplified living. Simplify lending for simplified living.
And we are back here with Morning Glen Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. All right. So another thing that people were talking about over the weekend, something to do with movies here. Fusion issuing a statement about a movie that they were hoping to have playing in their theaters, but at the last minute learned that the Films and Plays Control Board had an issue with it. Unfortunately, the word banned has been batted around, but that's not what this is. I'm sure the correct term is not approved for public viewing, because I don't think we've banned anything in a very long time, and that would be highly difficult, almost impossible for them to do. But it's just not approved for public screening. Anyway, so
does that mean that they can't consume it? The
right,
public
you
can't
could
see
watch it, stream it at home till your eyes pop out. I'm sure, right? It's not banned, but it's
Perhaps
just
it's
not
the interpretation of what banned means.
I don't think they used the word banned. They just blocked it from being. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's read this article in the Tribune about this. All right, so it says banned Cinema Slam's film rating. This is Fusion's viewpoint on this. All right, demonic content among reasons for blocking screening. So, Fusion's chief legal officer called for the archaic and outdated theater and cinemas regulations to be amended after the Film Control Board reportedly restricted the company's ability to show a movie, giving it a D rating. Oh boy, I never heard of that one before. There's a D rating? Okay. Is it D for demon? Anyway, the movie Demon Slayer, I don't know how to pronounce this, Kimetsu no Yaiba, I don't know, to the Hashira training, all of that is in this title, is an anime released worldwide February 2nd. Takoya Bridgewater, Fusion's chief lawyer, said the Film Control Board gave the movie a D rating, which means unsuitable for public viewing. Exactly, so it's not a ban. They cited that the movie had no storyline, preposterous in my opinion, this is Bridgewater speaking, that it was not in English, and that it had demonic content because of beheading and dismemberment. This is literally the content of 90% of horror films.
I'm like, that's not just any one of those things has been inside a movie recently screened.
My good Lord. Bridgewater saying, quote, their position, in my estimation, to restrict a movie for adult viewing in 2024 under some archaic and outdated legislation is unreasonable when this series is already displayed on Netflix and will be displayed on cable TV with an R rating. The Theater and Cinemas Act allowing the board this unilateral power must be addressed and amended. It is a law that no longer serves the purpose for the time and, in this estimation, an abuse of authority. We understand that the board is, in essence, attempting to protect young viewers, but this can be done by a C rating. It's the age of the internet and cable TV. Fusion Superplex can be akin to a pay-per-view movie. We are a private business that allows viewing by the public for compensation. The only difference is you physically come to the cinema because we offer an added visceral experience, better sound, bigger screen, and better seating. Bridgewater said that not showing a movie impacts revenue, employment, and the GDP. He said, quote, we believe this is an unprecedented act on the board's behalf. I've reached out to the Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture on the matter. Well, Minister Mario Bullock initially told the Tribune a D rating meant people under 18 could not watch the film. He later said he would speak to the head of the Film Control Board to clarify the matter. The New York Times reported that Demon Slayer was rated R for graphic cartoon violence and some strong language. Okay.
So just to say, go to your earlier point, you have A for all ages, B suitable for adults. Persons under the age of 18 must be accompanied by parents or responsible adult. T, suitable for persons above the age of 15. C, suitable for adults only. Persons under 18 years are not admitted, whether accompanied by an adult or not. D, unsuitable for public viewing. It also says that the system of censorship is a single tier one with a right by any member of the general public to appeal the selected rating or banning of a film by the board to the Supreme Court of the Bahamas. Before any play or film can be publicly viewed in any cinema or theater, they must be viewed by a panel from this board. All panels must consist of a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 7 persons, including the chairman, a policeman, and a ministry representative.
Mm-hmm. A policeman. Interesting. Okay. Let's get your reaction to all of this, folks. Now, just a few weeks ago, when we were talking about murders, which could be any day in the last few weeks, right? I was saying that there are some movies that are playing here that we really should restrict from being seen in theaters. I definitely wasn't thinking about anime or cartoons, but who knows, right? Because there are tons of movies with extremely violent content that will be playing here for months. Very few people get on board when people say those type things, but it is amazing to me how people get on board when something like this is not allowed to be seen. So the hypocrisy is amazing. But let's get your reaction. I want to hear from you all. What do you make of that? Do you agree with the fusion operators that the act is archaic? And that and unnecessary now that people can stream these things whenever they want or within a few weeks of it being released in the theater, that this isn't necessary? Or should we as a collective group of citizens agree that there are certain things that we don't want seen in public, whether you pay or not to go to a theater? That we should say that this is not for us. If you want to watch that in your home, that's your business, but we can't sanction having something be seen here in public as if we support it. What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's get your views on it. Let's hear what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Okay. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. What do you say on the surface of it?
I'm trying to remember the last movie that was quote unquote banned, blocked by the board, by whomever may have put forth that petition. I don't recall. I'm trying to find online. The only thing I can see is that it was Brokeback Mountain in 2006, and then not ironically maybe, but back in the day, and this is literally in the 1950s, the movie Island in the Sun was actually also banned.
Here in the Bahamas.
Here in the Bahamas. And it says, because the Bahamas Film Censor Board, as it was known then, decided that it would not be in the public's interest for the film to be shown in the Bahamas. It's necessary to keep in mind that under the United Bahamian Party, political leadership of the Bahamas, the British colony, was segregated. So they're saying that that was possibly the reasoning behind.
Who was in that movie? Let's see.
Dorothy Dandridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Henry Belafonte, Joan Fontaine.
Oh, I watched that movie. That's insane that was banned. What year was this?
1957.
Okay, well, that tells you. Anybody who ever calls and says we were better under the UBP, you really are not well. Okay, let's take that.
I'm sure the reasonings then are not the reasonings.
Perhaps, but I mean, it was really. I mean, Harry Belafonte and Joan Fontaine's characters were involved. I guess that was.
I'm literally trying. Is there a list? Is there a list of all of the movies that have ever?
All right, so I don't think there's been that many. The thing is that there are a lot of movies that don't come here. And we don't know whether it's because of the board or if it's because...
I was always told it's like a financial thing. If they don't think that it's going to be a hit with the public, they're not going to bring it over. At least this is what I understood for years ago, when there used to be a place where you could actually go and look out the smaller films, like the indie films and whatnot like that. When that was an option, that those would go to the smaller screens because they knew that they wouldn't have it. In fact, if I recall correctly, what one of the theaters that is now closed used to do is that the smaller indie films they used to show on special evenings in the theater. So like I think late on a Wednesday night or late on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night. And this is like at like 10 o'clock screenings or 8 o'clock screenings where they knew that hardly anybody was coming. So they'd only offer it like once a week.
And some other places used to have it in their smaller theaters, as in the rooms that could only hold like 50 people or something. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but this case, it hasn't happened often, but I'm trying to understand the rationale behind it. Are we looking at all of these other horror movies that are being screened?
and action movies. Where people are killing people nonstop.
My nephew wanted to go to the movies, right? We went to watch something that he wanted. Now, again, I'm not a movie person, so I didn't know what I was getting into. But I was like, okay, they put the rating here. They said that it's okay for children to go and watch. The movie opened with a decapitation scene. And I'm like, this is an impressionable
And
child.
not a cartoon.
No, this was an actual movie. Blood, gore.
That's all the time. All the time. Caller, what say you? Good morning.
Holiday is Strachan, voice along with you and DeAndre, Dwight.
Hi.
Morning.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. Dwight and DeAndre, what I think, they said they want the police to be watching, right?
No.
The thing is, I think a lawyer should be watching that knows the Constitution and the Penal Code for the Bahamas. We need a justice law.
Why?
Country. Huh? Say why?
Well, yeah, why?
Well, for the same reason that they want the police to watch it. See, the police don't know as much law as the...
And what about it? It's often going to be about a different country. So what?
Again?
It'll often be about a different country and laws and different. So what difference will it make?
But the thing is, they want it to be played here. So the people that going to view it, they should be lawyers because they should know what people are able to get locked up for or be charged for in this country.
Well, you are making the best case ever for the abolishment of this whole thing. So we get rid of this board entirely. This makes no sense. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. I gotta say. Well, that means payments have to make all the movies that play in the country. So they're made in line with the laws of this land? Okay, well, hey, man, we need to spark something to do with our film industry. Absolutely, why not?
Oh.
Wow. Okay. This is a text here. It's difficult for parents to control what their kids watch when they have smartphones in their hands. Yeah. Okay. What's your point?
There are controls that you can use too, and also if you put a phone, a device into the hands of your child, then you're mostly responsible as well.
But what's the point? I mean, what's in relation to what we're talking about?
I guess it's the infantilizing of the public more so to say that we should be responsible for what the public consumes, so therefore the control board can be responsible. But then why this movie? Why not the others?
Okay. This person says, do people still pay attention to TV ratings? Because some of these people are having their kids watch anything nowadays and listen to anything. Look at some of those games. There are people allowing the kids to play. Yeah, that's a great point. The games are, and they have ratings too, but nobody looks at that, clearly. But that's very interesting. Very interesting. This one says here, as an anime lover, I think it's ridiculous because this is the third one of this franchise that they've released. We saw the other two at Fusion. I just don't understand. Kimetsu no Yaiba, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and it's animated. Yeah, well. It's not so strange that Island in the Sun was banned in 2024. While there are some outliers, there are many cultures where it would be the end of the world for a child to marry or date outside of their race, or to a black person, common in Asian or Arabic or Jewish cultures. Okay. I hear you. Continue to call in. What say you on this? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Okay, let's take a really quick break, and then we'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association Vice President Vasco Bastian and petroleum retailers want to meet with Prime Minister Philip Davis as early as this week as they look for a 15% margin and abolishment of the current fixed margin rate regime at 54 cents. Bastian telling Guardian Business the retailers had a tentative agreement with the government on moving away from the current fixed margin rate to a percentage-based rate, which would have worked out to be 22 cents on the average gallon of gas. Bastian says the tentative deal was with the right number, and whether it was going to be 30 cents or 25 cents or 27 cents, that was the extent of the deal they looked at. But again, they're hopeful they can meet with the Prime Minister this week. The Consumer Protection Commission's top executive says that complaints against businesses hit a new record of 60 for January, which is more than the total number of complaints for 2022. Charmy Farrington-Austin, the Watchdog's executive director, telling Guardian Business that a CPC seminar for business held in Bahama last week was extremely well attended, as Morning Blend Business was right there, with over 300 businesses from various sectors showing up to learn more about the Consumer Protection Act and their obligations under it. Farrington-Austin saying that providers know that complaints had grown from 52 in total in 2022 to 105 in 2023. But in January alone, they got 60 complaints. Again, all more than what they saw in all of 2022. Last week's seminar, the CPC partner with the Financial Crime Unit of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, as pyramid schemes have been added to the Consumer Protection Act as well. And Starlink's fee schedule per user per year is dramatically different for users on the Family Islands versus Grand Bahama, and both are very different from the fee schedule for New Providence. That's according to IRCA, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority's updated 2024 fee schedule, which shows a $450 variance per year between what New Providence users pay and what Family Island users pay. According to the document, which lists the fee schedule for satellite broadband internet user terminals, Starlink charges at the Tier 1 level $500 per year per user in subscription fees. On the Family Islands, that annual subscription fee drops to $50 per user over the course of 1 year at Tier 1. And now in Grand Bahama, the annual cost is $100 at the Tier 1 level. Tier 1 ensures that the subscription fee is maintained at a fixed rate based on a number of user terminals sold. As Starlink satisfies each tier, the cost per year goes down. Read more on that in today's Guardian Business section. And telecommunications company Liberty Latin America saying its fourth quarter and fiscal year end results for 2023, showing that it hopes to complete its monetization of tower assets in the Bahamas before the end of the first half of the year, generating $70 million through the sale of those communications towers. The company saying that in its report that in the fourth quarter of last year, it completed the monetization of tower assets in Panama, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Barbados, and the British Virgin Islands, and received $244 million from those transactions, which were reflected as debt in their financial statements. LLA, which is the parent company of BTC, striking a deal last year to sell its towers to a third party that would maintain them for a basic rate. The company announced that it entered into an agreement with Phoenix Tower International to monetize approximately 1,300 mobile tower sites across the region. The deal would mean PTI, that's Phoenix Tower International, would take care of BTC's towers as opposed to having employees and staff maintain them. Overseas, the head of the World Trade Organization warning today that war, uncertainty, and instability are weighing down the global economy and urging the bloc to embrace reform as elections across nearly half the world's population could bring new challenges. The head of the WTO seeking to offer some praise for the organization as it held its biannual meeting in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, even as it faces pressure from the United States and other nations. But she was blunt about the risks ahead as higher prices for food, energy, and other essentials sting people's pockets, fueling political frustration. Running again is in the U.S. is former President Donald Trump, who threatened to withdraw the U.S. from the WTO and repeatedly levied tariffs, taxes on imported goods on perceived friends and foes alike. A Trump win could again roil global trade. But even if U.S. President Joe Biden is reelected, the United States has deep reservations over the WTO. The U.S., under the past three administrations, has blocked appointments to its appeals court, and it's no longer operating. Washington says the WTO judges have overstepped their authority too often in ruling on cases. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers: Fidelity Bank moving 500 shares, closing at $17.29 unchanged. Consolidated Water down 12 cents, closing at $5.90. Emira Incorporated up 8 cents, closing at $8.83. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,957.70, down 0.04. Recapping the week, the local market ended the week with 34,830 shares crossing the exchange in 12 trades, accumulating a value of $189,010. The BISX All Share Index gained 47.83 points, or 1.64%. Year to date, the index is up 106.03 points, or 3.72%. The week's volume and value leader was Bank of the Bahamas, moving 14,000 shares in one trade for a value of $57,600. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight for CFAL Talks, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 at 6:30 p.m. We are back here with our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business on this Monday morning. Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. All right, so we continue our discussion about the Film and Plays Control Board and this rating, a D rating, which basically meant that it's not going to be played in public. Let's get your reaction to it. Continue to get your reaction to this. The lawyers for Fusion saying that they think the board needs to be dismantled, basically. That this is antiquated and archaic. But we have in the past said that we need to question the things that are being brought into the country based on our population and what's happening in the country. I'm not sure if this is what I was talking about when we've said this before in the past, an anime about demon slaying. No. I think it's more detrimental to see real actors playing gangsters, shooting up people, right? All day long. In movies that are playing over and over and over for months. I think that's much more dangerous. But we need to question whether we should be playing any and everything in theaters here.
True. This is true. This is someone also writing in to say that, we've had the John Wick franchise. We've had The Conjuring. We've had Annabelle. We've had The Nun and similar movies and had no issues with those, and said even The Sound of Freedom, which is all about child porn and trafficking, that had no issues. But yet the Demon Slayer is an issue. Anime in general is rather, strange, but the fans already know that and it doesn't really bother them. And then adding that for the 50 Shades of Grey, the entire series was allowed, and that's basically, a certain type of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things have been passed.
Not violence per se.
But then what's the justification? So violence, different types of violations, and we've allowed these on the big screen.
Hey, interesting stuff. Call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Be great to hear a statement from the board. Do you think that's going to happen?
Sometimes what we think may happen or think would not happen actually does. So a miracle may occur,
Okay, great.
And then also I'm hoping that if it is that the theater feels so very badly about it, and they will appeal to it. I mean, hopefully they have the funds to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it sounds like there isn't even, according to a statement, right, there doesn't even seem to be any path to appeal.
Really? But it says that you can file an appeal, and it has to be heard by the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow. Okay.
By the Supreme Court.
That's a lot. Okay, let me read another statement that they issued. I think it was, let's see.
But I'm wondering if it has to be a member of the general public, or is it the business itself can't do that? I don't know. But
okay. Yeah, maybe there isn't. Maybe they can. Yeah, they say they're going to actively petition, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
But it's still up to what the court says, and if they side.
By the time it'll be out on cassette tape, the VHS.
And then it will actually impact, as the spokesperson for Fusion said, their revenue, the money's coming in and whatnot like that, because that does appeal to a certain part of the population as well. So they're not going to go, they don't have anything to come to the movie theater to watch.
Yeah. This texture says here, why are they trying to take parental decisions from the parents? Do you really need to ask that question, though? I mean, because as the previous texture said, there are people who are taking their children in to watch C-rated movies. Little children. I've seen it before.
Or allowing other people to take their little
5, 6-year-olds to watch a movie that only people over 18 should be watching. So sometimes we do need to do this. Right? Only when it's the movie that you want to watch do you start to have the concerns about it. But there are people watching with their 10-year-olds movies like John Wick and all the movies where people getting shot and decapitated and beheaded every 5 minutes, right? That is happening. We do need to do it because some parents around here are insane, right?
Yep.
But anyway, the texture goes on to say they think we're not wise enough to know what not to take our kids to watch. Yes, exactly. They do think that. I think that. We all think that. Yep, you're right. Bring the movie and enforce age restrictions the way it's been this whole time. Oh, okay. Some of y'all find a way. Find a way. Again, this movie, I don't think this is the problem. But there are other movies that are playing right now where the number of people getting killed in the movie is outrageous. Nobody has a problem with it.
Did they actually say, so it was the board that banned it, but do they say that who petitioned it? Sorry, banned, blocked it. Restricted it from public viewing.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it by a petitioner? Because from what I was reading, that's why the other ones were restricted or banned or whichever word.
You mean if they took a vote or something?
Pardon?
What do you mean? They took a vote or something? Or
No. Apparently, you can also petition. Allegedly, you can petition the board to say not to allow the movie to be seen. So I'm wondering, did anybody actually petition the board for them to do this, or did the board decide to do it after they saw it? Because I'm really thinking that there is something else happening here, especially when you have something called Demon Slayer. So it could be a certain group of persons.
Well, as we were talking about off air, right? We got a country that that poor woman who was having a mental episode, a breakdown, basically, right? Everybody's quick to say she has demons. So the place is not quite mature enough to appreciate mental health challenges, and will quickly brand everything as being the result of a demon.
Well, the thing is, culturally, we still rely on that. That's the thing. And we, as you say, I guess people could say that we're not mature enough to separate the spiritual from the mental, from the emotional. And that's why we have persons walking around with lots of problems. And this is why certain actions will continue to permeate our society. Because we're not allowing our persons or facilitating our persons the avenues that they require or that they should be exploring for help. Because sometimes, I'm sorry to say, prayer is powerful, but the Bible also says faith without works is dead. So therefore, if there are professionals that can help, then why are we not listening to them, seeing them?
And if you go by that, I mean, it just sounds like you could get a demon slayer and cast out that demon, and the person will be fine forever and
So
ever
perhaps
again.
the movie can teach us how to say demons. No, I don't know, but I have never watched it to know.
Sadly, we know that that's not how it works when people have mental health issues. You just can't cast out the demon and they'll be fine. Unless that involves medication. And then, oh, well, there you go. Okay, so yeah, so they're right. The parents are a problem, Texter. So I don't think that's how it works. Good morning, Dwight and Deandra. Great topic. I believe that the Bahamas should set standards that reflect who we are and what we wish to become as a country. Our public image should reflect what the majority wish for our children to be exposed to and emulate. Well, when are you going to start? Because we're not doing it. What people do in their private space should be kept private unless it is criminal or affect the rights and well-being of other private residents. Okay.
Is that in terms of movies or other things? Because that sounds like that maybe other things as well.
So John Wick going and shooting up everybody and slashing off their heads and arms and all that stuff, that's perfectly fine, is that what you're saying? But if it's in the title, if it was John Wick Demon Slayer, it would be a different story. Is that what we're saying?
Are we saying it's a title?
I mean,
that also happens in other countries where they rename.
They rename the
movie
stuff, so
and
they call it.
Do we actually do the whole censorship thing? I know that there have been
You're
instances where they took out certain
onto
scenes.
something. You're onto something. Had they called that anime special or something, they would have been fine.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. There has to be a petition. Like somebody saw or heard this or something like that. I don't know. But then I think we've had instances where scenes have been cut from the movies that we've seen, that we have screened over here.
I've seen that.
Like that happens. So are we also moving to the part where we're going to start redacting and beeping?
It's been happening.
And things. Oh, my goodness.
I've seen that. I saw that with the original Scary Movie. There was a scene that was cut out. It definitely was.
Interesting.
And I think with
I need to become a movie person.
what was Sacha Baron Cohen? What was that crazy movie that he was in the first one?
Borat?
The first Borat. They did cut out a scene.
Oh,
I'm
really?
telling you now.
Oh.
Where they were, yeah.
Okay, I clearly need to strengthen my movie game.
This texter says here, we've even had we've even had The Rock doing merciless killing. The what? Even though you don't see men imitating Freddy or Jason for horrors, ban all movies that promote ungodliness. Well, now what is that? What does that mean?
When people say things like that, it's almost like if we're going to choose to be strict in our religious ways, I mean, notwithstanding the fact that we're not all religious, 1. 2, there are other religions that are present in this country. 3, there is an element of interpretation to religion or spirituality, whatever it may be. We tend to only see one sin as opposed to all of them. And do we apply the same pressures? No, we do not. So it's honestly hypocrisy when people, to me, generally, when persons say things like that, when you spout platitudes. I mean, we're coming from, what they say, the third industry in our country is sweethearting? Come on now.
You sure it's third?
I mean, that's what they say. Tourism and finance still number 1 and 2, but seeing with all this taxation about to happen, I ain't too sure about number 2 now. I know. It might be number A. It's the underground economy. That's what it is.
Well, murder is up there. So probably higher than sweethearting at the moment.
Where's the money going then?
Oh, plenty money being made.
Okay.
All around with that one.
Okay.
What? Gotcha. That one. The tentacles are all over.
They're deep.
You got to get a
They're
suit.
high and
You
they're
got to
low.
get suit for the corpse, suit for the people going to the funeral, T-shirts getting made with the face on it. You get lots of money.
Yes.
Morticians and this and the limousine people and food for the after. Oh, man. Nothing but money with that. But every let's look at the films that are playing right now while we get ready to wrap up. How many of these are currently violent pictures? And at various times there'll be more. Let's see. All right. So for today, Monday. Need some theater music while we pull this up. All right, so playing today, The Beekeeper. One man's brutal campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes after he's revealed to be, that's C, revealed to be a former operative of a powerful and clandestine organization known as The Beekeepers. Lots of killing in that one. Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, a fantasy, but anyway. Red Right Hand. Rated C. In action thriller Red Right Hand, Orlando Bloom's character is trying to live an honest and quiet life, taking care of his recently orphaned niece, when the sadistic kingpin, Big Cat, who runs the town, forces him to back into her services, and I'm sure someone's getting killed in that one there.
It does say sadistic.
Madam Web, it's another comic book-based one that's rated B, but they're always getting killed in that one. No Way Up. Characters from different backgrounds are thrown together when the plane they're traveling on crashes into the Pacific Ocean. Okay.
That sounds like a Lord of the Flies situation.
Maybe. And then some comics, some animated ones here. Land of Bad, rated C. Russell Crowe.
It's Russell Crowe there.
It's just killing, right? A covert special forces operation in the South Philippines spirals into a brutal 48-hour battle for survival. Okay, so killing. Bob Marley, One Love. That's one. No killing.
You could just have all One Love movies. Let's do that.
And more animated stuff. So, hey, what messages are we sending here? And we're which demons? Pardon the
that if
pun,
it's animated,
if it's an animated demon, is bad. But if you're killing people who are living, if they're alive, it's fine.
Because you see real time, real action. This actor. Oh my goodness, that's an actual human. It's not a cartoon. They're doing this, but the cartoon can't happen.
So you can't behead in the cartoon, but you can do that
on TV.
On
when
an
you
action
see
movie.
Actual humans do it. It almost sounds like a lesson in action, no?
Things that make you go, okay. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens, what comes out of this. Will this just blow over, or we see real change here? And with everything.
Just a start. Maybe there will be other movies now that they're operational, or at least in the public's eye, that they're going to now apply these restrictions to.
So, John Wick fans, beware. You might have to watch that at home.
Only if it's animated, Dwight. Only if it's animated.
Sure. Deandra Cartwright, thank you so much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you too.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.